I know whoever betted on that game Wednesday night and Friday night got paid. You know, so, you know. And it's not like I'm immoral, like I wouldn't bet. I just realized that I ain't got the talent for it, so I just ain't stupid, you see. But it's not like an immoral thing like, you know, God said you don't bet. Really, in actuality, basically, like I said before, basically, the concept of what God does, most people have been trained in what is called some form of fundamentalism. And even when they switch from Christianity and went into other things, they still have a brand of fundamentalism. And realistically, God don't even deal in no human affairs as far as what you think, as far as what you call moralistically. They don't deal with that at all. As a matter of fact, you are looked on by the highest spirit as well as your higher self as ants. So you don't care what an ant pile does. Oh, I'm looking at this little ant, look at a little tiny ass ant, and you looking at him, how much bread he took, and how much bread he stole. You look at an ant pile, you be like, well, hell, you know, I don't care what those ants are doing. Well, that's the same concept on what the God level is looking at when it comes to human affairs. The God level is energy level, and it's only dealing with the energy that's in you, and it has nothing to do with any social, moralistic, mundane, economical, and political, spite what you think. Spite what you think, because ain't nobody been no more obedient than we have, and we've been good-ass Christians, and what has happened? Still good-ass slaves, and good-ass hoes, and good-ass everything else. Dead and everything else, so you know that at this time. So I guess before I start, you got a jug, right? Got 2 jugs. Well, you sure fill up enough. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What we're going to do is, this is the new way we do it. I just pour ashe in there, in the plant, and then I take the water and put around the plant like this, and that'll be the libation water. Hell, the gods know what time it is. And like I said the last time, I'll give you a book, because I want to explain this libation thing. But first of all, I want to just go into libation, and I just do this, so y'all know the roll call. So let's deal with this. Awas, ashe, Tahuti, ashe, well, y'all. Okay. Osea, ashe, aset, ashe, heru, ashe, nebhert, ashe, het heru, ashe, bash, ashe, tu, ashe, Sophia, ashe, Abraxas, ashe, Abra, ashe, Cabdit, ashe, Hadit, ashe, Ankop the Kunsu, Anpu, Tahuti, Enoch, Elijah, Brahma, Vishnu, Brahmini, Ramachandra, Sita, Hanuman, Lakshmi, Jensaya, Damawalawedo, Marasha, Bridget, Adam Gwadi, Ogu Farelli, Ogu Shango, Edowedo, Zaka, Alafi, Legba, Papagede, Loa, Nakumpa, Umbelinga, Nkulakulu, Odudawa, Iminja, Orisha Oku, Oya, Chengo, Oshun, Ogun, Babaluaye, Abatala, Adudawa, Pan, let's keep on going, let's see, Raziel, Haziel, Samuel, Bubiel, Lakshmiel, Haniel, Michael, Gabriel, Samuel, Atan, Atum-Ra, Atum, Newt, Apit, Tyert, Dagon, Draco. Okay, let's see here. Melchizedek, Metatron, Medura-Atan, Abd-Ert, Harsefi, Cthulhu, Unkulakulu, Hastar, Yog-Sathos, Nirlahotep, Shub-Niggurath, I say Dagon, I'll say that one time, okay. Ogu, Nomo, Ama, Niama, Ba, Na, Pataneta Unra, to all gods known and unknown. So I say my grandmother, the Shaw family, the Hemmitt family, the Davis family, all my family members. So when we count to 3, 1, 2, 3, start calling out your family members. 1, 2, 3. Start calling them out. Ashe. 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 Keep calling them out. Ashe. 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 So all gods known and unknown. Ashe. To all ancestors known and unknown. Ashe. Now let me explain what this thing is right here, because we got to get out of this form of worship and more of empowerment to the deities. Let me explain this. Well, first of all, the book that you want to get, because there's a lot of people come up and they've been asking lately, they want a complete list of all the gods that they can invoke. And I'll explain what it means to invoke in a few minutes. And one of the best books to buy, there's a book out, the best book to buy where you can get the Tibetan gods, the Chinese gods, the Japanese gods, the Hindu gods, the Egyptian gods, the African gods. And remember now, all of those cultures, the gods and everything that they talk about, the mythology came from what? Black people. Because if you go to any of those places, they have the remnants of the black people is still there. You understand what I'm saying? So all of those cultures, the actual gods came from the black people. So, if the gods came from the black people in all of those particular cultures, what you have here is, there's no such thing as some other race making out anything. We're talking about different linguistics. So you all supposed to know that right now. There is no God but one God, because all the gods, put them all together, they represent the God one and the one God. But on the other hand, all around the world, remember now, it was all one landmass and one number one people on the planet, black people. So the book that you want to get is called, The Ancient Shining Ones. The Ancient Shining Ones by D.J. Conway. And it'll go into the several different aspects of the different secret societies, and then they'll give you all the list of the gods throughout the world, including the Hawaiian gods, because those are our brothers and sisters over there. You see what I'm saying? Well, you know how that is. Everybody's dead in the brain, you see. So what we're talking about ancient. You got to separate ancient from modern, because all modern people are insane, basically, based on world domination and being separated from the original gnosis. So the book is D.J. Conway's book, which is the best book I've found. It's a big, thick book, which is worth having. It's about $19 because it's about this thick, and because it gives you a whole lot of history, and it gives you a whole lot of, it breaks down what each system is more than just a book with a list of gods. And it came out in '94, and it's called The Ancient Shining Ones. Also, D.J. Conway has a book called Moon Magic. They have two of them here, which is a key book because you're going to find out that moon is more powerful than that sun out there, and I'm going to explain that in a few minutes, because we're going to explain that in a few minutes, because that sun is a holographic sun, which we'll deal with. So the book that gives you everything that you want to know on the moon is the one called Moon Magic, which is in actuality an encyclopedia of the moon, and it gives you all the particular stuff. It's all the particular stuff you need on the moon. On the moon. When they talked about the sun god in Egypt and the sun, they was not talking about the sun that you see here, the holograph. They was talking about the sun behind the sun, Sirius. And later on, cultures mistook that for the actual sun. But we'll get into that later on. I'm going ahead of myself. Now, the D.J. Conway also has out this book called Magical Primer. And I did this the last time, and a sister called me, and she said that she really started tapping in. Oh, some more notes, good. She really started tapping in based on this ritual. Now, the ritual is called the Egyptian Master Ritual on page 143 of this book, A Complete Magical Primer. So what this book is dealing with, this book here is actually a book, if you want to understand how magic works. This book will give you a better understanding. Another good book is the book by, what's the name of that book? Ritual Magics. The name of the guy is, what's the name of the guy? I'll find it. It's a Jewish guy. Anyway, he took all the systems around the world and put it in one book, and he made it simple. And they tell you what you should expect from magic and what you shouldn't expect from magic. And the magic that they're talking about is the black man and the black woman's magic from the black magicians from Atlantis. But this book is called A Magical Primer, and in here, there's a section in this book called, on page 143 of D.J. Conway's book, and it's called The Consecration of the Circle. Now, the circle is called the 0 point, and the 0 point is which everyone must go to get the new manifestation. And the 0 point is nothing but the black dot. You see, in you, your circle, which they say go within, they're talking about go within the circle. So this particular ritual where they're talking about consecration of the circle here, this particular ritual where they're talking about consecration of the circle, you can let them on in after you tell them that, though. if they decide to come on in and all, you know. Yeah. This particular one consecration of a circle is an Egyptian master ritual. So for those particular people who want to partake in this, remember now, there is no religion but one religion. There is no God but one God. So for those people that want to partake in this thing, you can stand up if you want to, and we'll do this particular ritual. How many people want to get down with it? Raise your hand or whatever. Okay then, because it's coming out of the Egyptian. It's actually coming from the pyramid text. So for those people, just stand up and just repeat after me. Just repeat after me. And this is an empowerment. I'm going to explain what this stuff is. It's no entity coming to possess you. It's only the entity is in you, your own powers. So your own power. So this is a way to conjure up your own powers. And once I get through with this, I'll explain what libation really is. Okay, let the shining ones not have power over me. You say it. Okay, let's start it over. Okay. Okay, you all repeat after me. I'm sorry, that's my fault. Okay. Yeah, I guess we got enough seats. So, let the shining ones not have power over me. Let the shining ones not have power over me. I have purified myself and my heart is filled with joy. I have purified myself and my heart is filled with joy. Having anointed myself with unguents, I have made myself strong. I bring to you perfume and incense, O glorious ones. Let me place this incense on this fire as homage to thee. All homage to Tefnut. All homage to Geb. All homage to Atum. All homage to Shu. Okay. Now we're gonna say. Let's see. We're gonna say this 12 times. It's called I supplicate the Kenti Amentu. So we're gonna say it 12 times. I supplicate thee Kenti Amentu. 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 Okay. Ra, I adore thee. Ra, I adore thee. Hail Aset. Hail Aset. All homage to Tahuti. All homage to Tahuti. I adore God, Lord of heaven. I adore God, Lord of heaven. Lord of earth and King of righteousness. Lord of earth and King of righteousness. Lord of eternity. Lord of eternity. Prince of everlasting life. Prince of everlasting life. God of life, builder of eternity. God of life, builder of eternity. Hail Kephra. Hail Kephra. Who approaches me in divine splendor. Who approaches me in divine splendor. Hail Ra, Lord of rays. Hail Ra, Lord of rays. Thou art God of life, Lord of love. Thou art God of life, Lord of love. All people live. All people live. Okay, let's, okay. When thou shineth. Okay, got one, okay. Hail Temu. Hail Temu. Okay, thou givest the splendor in heaven. Thou givest the splendor in heaven. As a phoenix going forth. As a phoenix going forth. Thou have made offerings to the gods. I have made offerings to the gods. And sacrifice to the shining ones. And sacrifice to the shining ones. I show my mastery over all things. I show my mastery over all things. With this night I became one with the Lord of light. With this night I became one with the Lord of light. Hail Eye of Heru, grant unto me. Hail Eye of Heru, grant unto me. The secret longings of my heart. The secret longings of my heart. Swifter than light. Swifter than light. O shining ones, return now. O shining ones, return now. To the heights of heaven. To the heights of heaven. Thou have walked beside the great old ones. I have walked beside the great ones. Who are mighty and resplendent. Who are mighty and resplendent. The sum and are the sum total of all things. My phallus is that of Msu. My flesh is that of Net. Okay, this, okay, you can sit down now. Let me explain this. Ashe. Now, let me explain this. This particular ritual is actually all, okay, you know, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to file on in here and get the women as you can, you know, get as many women as you can get up in here. And if so happen we run out of seats, you know hard heads, unasked the seats, and give them over to the soft legs. You say it the ghetto style. What we're dealing with here is we are dealing with a ritual that actually it conjures up energy in you. Every element that's in the known universe is also in your body. You see what I'm saying? In your body you have a fire within you is hotter than the fire that you see in the flame. That blue part is hotter even than that, and that's that kundalini energy. And all, and anybody ever raised this thing, you can feel it to somewhat degree. So what I'm trying to say is this concentration of the circle is actually harnessing the energies in you. So what is libations for? You pour libations, and this is the main secret of libations, is not also it pays homage to the ones that are passed on and to the energies of the universe that you call gods, or the one God or the God one, but not only that, is the gods work in the universe through you. So when you pour libations, secretively, whether you knew this or not, you was actually empowering yourself. And the more and more you pour to the gods, the more and more you activate energy within yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what was the brother name yesterday we was talking to, the brother from the Olympics?
Kevin Young.
Kevin Young, right? He's the hurdler that broke Edwin Moses' record. And he deals with the Orishas, come to find out, which was cool. I was saying, well, man, you can win these races or do what you want to do. If you conjure up the energy and cushion yourself with the energy, you can empower yourself. So, spite the contrary, when we was thought that we was making offerings to the gods, in actuality, they're working through you, and you are the vessel, because this is the kingdom. Remember now, in the Kabbalah, you'll see pictures of what? You'll see pictures of the tree of life, and down at the bottom of the tree of life, when you got several trees of life, but down at the bottom of the tree of life, you have Malkuth, Ma-Kuth. That's like Har, Ma-Kuth, which means word made truth. Malkuth, or Malkuth, which is actually talking about the kingdom. It's called the kingdom. So the kingdom is now here. You must understand when the kingdom is, and what happens was you must understand when you inherit the kingdom. You are sitting on the kingdom is now here. It's just that we don't understand, because we're still semi-dazed that understand that now we have inherited the kingdom, but we're still looking for the gods. Like the Zohar says, the man on earth say God is on high, while the angels in heaven say God lives on earth. Well, that means as above, so below. So when we're talking about a chain of command, we're talking about as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. That means that the kingdom, the hourglass, if you turn it upside down, you have inherited the kingdom. All the cosmic power zones and everything is here, and we'll go deep into that in a few minutes. All that is lined up now. So when you inherit the kingdom, it means one thing. You can't be no five-star general asking no damn buck private what the hell to do. They're saying, hell, we're here to take out your orders. So they said, when you are dead or when you are asleep, the angels or the gods or the spirits that you call upon, they guide you while you are dead. But once you become to a certain level and you become awakened, they become your servants. Not a matter of a disrespect, it's just a matter of chain of command. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like at one time you were asleep, and now they became the wheels of the car. But hell, the wheels of the car can't turn, or the motor can't turn on now unless you turn the damn key. So when you deal with these particular libations, you are empowering yourself. It's all about you. It said homage due to something about the shining ones. All return now. That the shining ones are you. So when the book said the return of the book is talking about the ancient shining ones, they're talking about you. That's the mystery. So when you pour libations and stuff, you're actually empowering yourself. And that's the difference between worshiping and becoming the object of worship, or becoming the embodiment of the energy that you think in actuality is separated from yourself. No God has no soul older than yours, and we'll go into that concept. There is no God higher than you. Now, for some people have a different, can't grasp that. Once we get deeper into the lecture, we will be going into that particular part. Now, let's go into a little bit of hard copy, because you always got to do hard copy, because most of black people, most of you are in consciousness. We're basically teaching to the converted now. It's not going to be too many other people that you got to come out, because it's not a movement. This is the key now. And we must stress this as we go on closer and closer into the apocalypse, or going to the end of the apocalypse, and we'll explain that too. This is not a movement whereas you got to go out and saying, you got to get the masses. So the reason why you don't think anything is going on, because you see the masses is all messed up. The whole key is you can't wake up 80 million people in the United States. Now, when I say that, we're talking about 40 to 60 million black people, and we're talking about closely 80 million people when you talk about the black Hispanics that don't know that they're black, and the black Native Americans, there's some of them that still don't know that they're black. You see what I'm saying? And also you got a white element of that also too. You can't wake up, if you tried to wake up 80 million people, that means that you'll be here till the year 4000. And you still have about 3 million people that you woke up. It don't go like that, but we'll explain the metaphysical concept on what does occur. But the only ones that need to understand what's going on is the ones that's woke up now. Now, let me explain this again. What do I mean by that? The reason why you are woke, because some incarnation passed in the past history, a couple of thousand years ago, you said we're going into a hibernation. You see what I'm saying? You say, okay, we've been on this world for a couple of thousand millions of years. Now it's time for us to go through the metamorphosis stage where we go to a higher realm, back to the godhood. Now, at that particular time, you say, well, you actually gave this planet up. You see what I'm saying? You outgrew it and you gave it to the cracker. That's why he's still out there looking for trees and National Geographic and searching for all this kind of stuff and always exploring, because he's a baby. So you said, I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to retake my planet, but it's going to be on a greater level than what you think this physical shit where you got all the damn automobiles and the cars and up in some corporate office with some suit on. You said, I'm going to wake up. So you encoded or decoded within yourself a timer to go off on which you would wake up into the future. So you set your timer to go off that would wake you up into the future. And that's why a lot of you are being woke. You are coming alive, or you are waking up, or you are already woke. It's just a matter, when you wake, if you woke, somebody moved you into a new damn house while you were sleeping, you still got to learn the damn house and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some of you still find out where the bathroom is. The key is you are woke, and the process of being awake is to stumble through the maze. You got it? But you set the timer on when you was going to wake up. You understand where I'm coming from? Now, the other people, they haven't woke up yet, but if those people set their time to wake up at 11 o'clock, and you woke up at 6, I'll be damned if I set my timer to wake up at 11. You understand where I'm coming from? And you come up in there at 6 o'clock trying to wake my behind up. I'm going to be pissed off. You see what I'm saying? So the reason why you are catching resistance from the masses is because they haven't set their timers to wake up yet. There are some people that's woke, but they're searching. And that's why you can come and give a brother the knowledge. They got it the first day. And they own it. They can understand it. Then you can have a person, they can go to all the meetings. They can go to all the things based on a social thing, and they still can't bear witness to nothing. Still dead. That means that all the learning, they still the nigga that they were in 1980s. So what you got is two different dimensions. You must understand. This is the physical world that is a hologram. But if you was to open yourselves up, the ones that are somehow interested in this knowledge, and see another person that's rejecting this, you would find out that you will have a semi-dim light that's came on. And those people's light is still dormant. You understand what I'm saying? The reason why you can't tell is because you're looking with these two eyes, which is a cheat. This is an illusion. It only submits things which, a series of events that do not exist. So the difference between you and the other brother and sister is they are more dormant. Their light is still off. It don't mean that they're negative. It's just that everybody don't wake up the same time. You understand what I'm saying? Every morning. So based on nature and based on cycles, everything don't just come along the same time. Some flowers bloom before the other flowers. You understand the concept and what we're dealing with here? So now the key is we're talking about time is going on, and don't make a difference how much you go and holler in their face. They're going to reject it for the simple fact they're in another dimension. They're somewhere in the 1980s. And like I said before, you got Negroes that don't even have a clue. I mean, they be good people. You know, they pull down $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. You know, they got the nice clothes on, and these people, these good people, some of these people got your back. They won't shit you. You can always depend on them. You understand what I'm saying? But they're still good, dead people. I mean, these people got your back up until the time when you start talking that crazy shit. You understand? You know the concept? And then all of a sudden they lose it. That is because if you are hollering or if you are just speaking to a person, and that person is not woke up, that's like you coming in a damn room and saying, "Get up!" That'll scare the hell out of somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So what it is a piercing noise, not actually based on the range of your voice, but the things that you are saying, they do not compute. So therefore, when they use logic and rationale, it does not compute with them, because they are still using logic and rationale, which is only for the physical, mundane laws of the world. You understand what's going on here? So we must understand these particular things on what we're dealing with here. You see what I'm saying? Because this is the reason. So don't think because the masses of the world is going into turmoil that it's not all coming. Take, for instance, like I said in the book, Emil Bach's book, Apocalypse of St. John, if you can still get it from London, England, it says that the apocalypse would have been in for 10 years before the people would even know, because the people would have grown so used to bad news. You understand what I'm saying? And until they cut off the damn food, the lights, and the water, you don't give a damn what's going on. That means as long as you wake up and you hear something that's horrific, horrible, long as the news is still on, and long as the TV show is still on, long as the refrigerator is running, you say, "Oh, it's still shit still ain't bad." See what I'm saying? As long as you can go to work and pull down the check. That means you are still into the system that's lulling you to sleep. And what's happening is things now, but like I said before, if you transported a person 2,000 years into this world, he would say, "Oh my God." Yeah, okay, brother, those two there, we already got them checked in. Yeah. They would say, "Oh my God." Because, and the reason why they would say that is, well, let's see, here's some chairs in the front if you, or whatever, that thing and all, you know, we can make that compatible to a couple, watch your juice and all that. If they was to come into the future, they would say, "Oh my God, what in the hell is going on?" They would all fall out and have a heart attack. So what is happening is we have been so used to bad news until the apocalypse has been here 10 years. And still yet, long as the man got the TV on, and long as he can provide some type of his civilization appearing to be stable, you still think, well, you know, we ain't gonna never get out of this mess. And like Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the cracker will build buildings until the end time. Even in the little book, there's a little book back here called Secret of the Andes. And they got a part in there called the Transcript of the Hierarchy. And in there they say that the guy, his name is actually George Hunt Williamson, that wrote the book Other Tongues, Other Flesh. But he goes under the name of Brother Philip in this book, and he quotes the same thing that Honorable Elijah Muhammad quoted. In this book, he said the cracker will build buildings and give you a series of events clear into the year 2000, and he'll be shaking in his damn boots, and it can be over tomorrow, but you're still thinking, because he has the power to define and make it stick. So his reality is what you're still going on. You understand what I'm saying? So now, we're talking about the apocalypse being here. There's no more such thing as time. This is the year 2001 and beyond that, because remember now, the ancient calendar ran out, and we know it ran out. We can say the ancient calendar ran out at least. The ending of the year was 1994, 95. But we're talking about what is called the null period. The white boys are talking about the null zone, which is a null period, which is no such thing as the end. That's why the damn weather and stuff is the way it is. So you're saying you might not know the dates because dates are artificial, but you know the season. Now what do you mean by the season? You cannot put a date on when a damn flower is going to bloom or when a tub of water is going to fill up. But you can estimate based on the season. You see the bud has already popped open and it's in the process. So you're calculating in your mind in an artificial man-made timing of numerology based on the white boy. Like we say, we don't know if the damn day is Wednesday. We don't know if it's Sunday. We don't know what day it is based on the cracker. Messing with time. But we know the season. And based on the abnormal weather of the season, we know you can't put a date on when the actual time is blooming, but when that flower is going to bloom, but you can actually see the flower in bloom. So what is happening here, you are literally seeing the decay of civilization as you know it, and you know that we are in the late hours. Now, another thing, like I said before, let's look at this millennial thing or the 2000 to get you cleared up on this shit. Now, let's just use our brain. Everybody looking for the year 2000. Now, because that's what you hear the cracker say. Remember now, you can't go by what the beast say. Anything he tell you, anytime he says something over 3 or 4 times on his TV, that means he's trying to keep you fixed on a doggone point, which is always a false point, because the cracker lies every day. Right? And every hour. Now, what do they mean? He's telling you the year 2000, right? Now, that means one thing. If we get to the year 2000 based on the white man's year 2000, that means one thing. That means that he would have a fixing point on which the hell he gonna look out for something to come, because he already crossed that threshold, right? And from 2000 on in, he will be on it. You understand where I'm coming from? So the Bible and every other religious scripture tell you, you know not the time or the hour. It's going to come like a thief in the night. So if it's coming like a thief in the night, it's not going to come in the year 2000 or after the year 2000, because he'll be on the lookout, right? That means it's going to come before that. When the cracker catch him with his pants down, he say, hey, wait a minute, I ain't finished using the toilet yet. Too late, we taking heads, right? So everybody is fixed on that, and anything the damn church is fixed on, you know not to go by that shit. You see what I'm saying? That's the worst thing ever happened to us as the damn black church. That's why damn Bill Clinton came down to assure his people in the black church that everything gonna be all right. You see what I'm saying?
Who do you think run these black churches?
Well, my key is I think it could be a little copycat thing now, but either way, it's a blessing. It's more of a blessing. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go into that in a few minutes. But what we're talking about is critical at this time. So does this mean that you're supposed to drop everything you're doing, quit your job, put on a robe and get a goddamn cane and some sandals and walk down like Moses? Does it mean that? No. You keep doing what you're doing. Just like the white boys say on this show, Bible prophecies. They say we can't tell you when Jesus coming back. You know that's their thing. They say, but if he don't come back in 7 days, we'll see y'all next week. You see, if he comes back in 7 days, then hell, we ain't got nothing to do with that. We home free. So the whole key is for you not to sit up and have a staff and running around, you see, running around in the streets like them niggas around 5 Points, hollering some scriptures and stuff. They even got a person can't even talk around side, so he can't take the ball. When you ever see this cat? He can't even speak. You see. So the key is to understand while you are in the field to be a covert agent, just like the beast. You thought for 20 years that the cracker loved you. And the cracker showed you something more than anything else. He showed you that he could work with you for 20-something years. And 20 years later, he can turn around and tell you, I don't want you on the job no more. No affirmative action, no welfare. And you find out you got the same beef that's worse than what he was before he started in the 60s. Because even in the 60s, they didn't even have a certain amount of knowledge. I mean, the masses. You know, the little 10% always had the knowledge. But in the 60s, they have gone through a whole 20, 30 years of understanding civil rights that they invented, and still they turn around you and tell you, you still a nigger. Check? So he has showed you that he could be in the game. There you go, brother. He could be in the game, He has showed you that he could be in the game, but on the other hand, he could work with you, but then on the other hand, he's still the same beast. And that's because he understands survival of the fittest, and they understand what is called a behavioral modification to get what the hell they want. That's different than somebody changing. Oh, I've changed. So all the cracker got to do tell you he changed. Strong Thurman gonna tell somebody he changed. Biggest racist. George Wallace told the niggas he changed in 1993, and the whole Alabama voted him in. Back, governor. So let's get to some hard copy and see some things. Like I said before, the last time I spoke a brief night over in oh yeah, go ahead. Hey, wait, brother. Just let her come on through. Come on, you can walk the plank. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see, this is Sister Shakura. She spoke here, what, 2 weeks ago?
Last month.
Yeah, she is one of our, she used to be in New York, and now she's one of our resident psychics here in Atlanta. So, she used to be in New York, but she's now one of the resident psychics right here in Atlanta. So, that whole deal. I guess, she passed out some numbers or whatever type thing when she, whatever. Now, going back to, like I spoke recently about 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks, about 2 or 3 weeks ago in Atlanta. I think this brother was there. And I said some things. I hadn't spoken here since, I think, in March or whatever. Anyway, let's deal with some things that's on the agenda of the hard copy. Now, I know it's a little hot now because, it was cool up in here, but Negroes draw heat. So, hell, like I said, too, now, hell. You can't, like I said, if you was on the equator, this still would be an ice box, right? Right? And if you was getting down, you know what I'm saying, getting it on, you wouldn't even notice no heat until after you got through and you go, ooh, it's hot. You see what I'm saying? But not before you did what you had to do. So now, this is just as good as sex, right? Because this is food for thought. Now, you say, I ain't going that far. But anyway, let's deal with the hard copy. Like I said, malt liquor. First of all, we knew that malt liquor was made from, that was targeted by for black people. We knew that it was made from what is called the Funyun, which is the gel part of all the beer, the Budweiser, domestic or foreign beer. You have what is Budweiser. You know what your regular beer is. Just look at what the white boys drink. Regular beer. You knew that the beer, after they clean out the barrels of the beer, they have what is called this gel, this thick stuff, what you call the dregs. You know what I'm saying? Anything that goes to the bottom of the pot and hardens up. That stuff, they reprocess that stuff and make malt liquor for black people because they market it. And they say some white people drink it. No, but it's marketed for black people. You see what I'm saying? We understood that it make you sterile. But another thing what we understand now is they put urine in it. They put and they can get all the urine they want from prison systems. You see what I'm saying, or whatever. So they put urine in it, in the malt liquor. Just for the joke of it now, you know what I'm saying? This stuff is strong. Don't mean that they put enough urine that you can taste, but they put enough in there to just feel like they're getting on top of your behind, just for the joke. So they put urine in the actual malt liquor, and another thing they do is they ejaculate in it also too. You see, they ejaculate in it too. So y'all people know what that means. So they also ejaculate in it for the mere meanness of it. And that's why they'll have about 5 or 10 different malt liquors, and they'll even get the rappers to even advertise it. Why is this? They got one now called Hurricane. I saw it the other day, Hurricane. You see. So this is what they do, and this is what you see all the people walking around with these malt in these 40s. Now, you know damn well in this country, if you go to the supermarket, anything good come in a small package, and you can't get enough of it, and it's always cost more. Build a small box, be $10 for something this big, but it be the stuff. Now, behind that, but they're going to give you something this tall, you see, for $1.99 or whatever, and you think it's good. So we want to just tell you that about that malt liquor. Also now, we see we've had one of the worst things as far as understanding the degeneration of the black race. We've seen this through Charles Barkley, about 2 weeks ago? Now, the cracker was on TV about 2 weeks ago, about a week ago. He's on TV, and the cracker was trying to tell Charles Barkley. He was trying to give him a hint, saying, you damn dummy, there's no such thing as the United States of America. That doesn't exist. Only thing that exists is your ethnic group. If you are Italian, you work in the system and you confront all this melting pot, but you know that your stuff is loyal to the Italians. If you Chinese, you loyal to that. So he was trying to tell the guy, you boned and elbowed this brother from Africa. You elbowed this brother from Africa, what, 2 years ago, 4 years ago in the 92 Olympics, and he was trying to give this Negro the hint. He said, well, he's going to be coming to Atlanta. Are you going to take him out to dinner? No, and then he said, you know, he's lifting weights. He said, I'm lifting weights too. So are you going to take him out? No, I'm going to hit him again. Like I said, America is the greatest country on earth. They're looking at this idiot saying, look, he don't even have a clue what the hell we talking about. You see what I'm saying? And we're the greatest basketball team. So this guy got a mythological, some utopia that we don't know about called America. And his loyalty is to some sport that 100 years ago we didn't even have. You understand what I'm saying? Some sport that started out with a damn peach basket. You understand? But this is just showing you the degeneration of the race as far as even if you tried to lift it up based on what you would call a movement or political, social, economic, and mundane, it ain't happening. You see what I mean? That's like Andromeda strain. It's almost as if to say that when something is ready to throw away, it's ready to throw away. So we're talking about it's got to go on a whole nother level. So if you're looking at it on one plane, it ain't happening. So I just wanted to put that down. Let's get some other things that's going down. Now, look at this. They in the AU Center, and we saw this the other night. In the AU Center, they got these big smokestacks. You know, schools in the physical plant, they got these big smokestacks to be on campus. These things, they're like, 30 feet tall or 25, 30 feet, about as tall as a telephone pole. This is even taller than a telephone pole. So it's about, you know, let's say about telephone poles. So two of those it'll be roughly about 40 feet. They got this satellite in the AU Center sitting on one of the smokestacks over on Morehouse's campus. Now, if they can take a damn satellite and watch you on the moon and watch whatever out in space and watch you from wherever, thousands of miles away, what the hell you think they can do with a satellite in the AU Center? That means it can cover all of Atlanta, including all of the black community. So like they say, they got it now where they can sit down on a TV screen and can watch you changing a tire or watch you picking up a damn dime, let alone selling some crack or whatever kind of thing you're trying to do, all transactions. They can watch your ass, at least on the outside. And we know they got technology that can go beyond that. Check? So these are some things that's also that they're also dealing with also too. Also, Sister Shakira also told me that that Brother O.J. met with Steve Coakley. So I'm interested to see what comes out of that meeting. You know what I'm saying? What comes out of that meeting also too. Now you heard about this guy, Bobby Rush, who is an ex-Black Panther, now as a congressman. So what I'm trying to say is we're talking about just a lack of thought, period. How can you be an ex-Black Panther and then become a congressman and then we'll get on TV and boast about it? You understand where I'm coming from? That ought to let you know to see a lot of things that we got into based on movements was ego-based in the first time. And when it no longer fed us, or fed our egos, you understand, what it was is what we can do based on our own personal benefit we got out of it. And that's why they say most of your revolutionaries became government workers. Check. So that was just very, now let me get on this Liberia thing. You got any paper napkins? You got any more of those? Or whatever? What we can do is somebody can run down to the store. I don't know the hell, if we was at, you know, it costs about $1 in the supermarket. You can run down to the store and get the big old paper towels if you want to. You got any? Just see if they got some paper towels down there. You see what I'm saying?
Don't take that wild.
Yeah, we don't want you to get hit over the head and all, you know what I'm saying? You know, have to shave your dreads off and put some stitches up there. But you know, whatever the deal is, okay. But so, you know, that way we can get some paper towels and we can wipe off like that, you know, also too. So now let's listen to what's going on in Liberia. You know, Liberia has been in a shambles since 1990. What the deal is Liberia is the thing that's been happening since the history of the country, where they would start wars, and every war from World War I on up has been started to somehow neutralize and kill for what the white man thinking of as a messiah rising up out of us. And especially after, in the 60s, Vietnam. You understand what I'm saying? After the 30s, You know, 1931 with Elijah Muhammad and Noble Drew Ali and all that, you had world, by 10 years later, well, almost 8 years later, 39, 41 or whatever, you got World War II. You see what I'm saying? And even in the 50s, you got Korean and all that kind of thing. And that's not including all the little secret wars. So we know that they're one of the main things on a lot of the wars and stuff. And so basically, until they learn how to kill you through AIDS and Ebola and just downright put your ass in concentration camps, basically, the wars were to kill the Messiah. Is what the wars were based on. So, based on you rising up, and they understood that they had somehow neutralized the black community with crack, AIDS, and the whole 9 yards, because they understood it that time of going to wars was over. They understood that during the time of, during this particular time of 1990s, that they were still looking for this Messiah to rise up. So the key is they understood that they had narrowed it down to the ones in the United States is the ones that a lot of them was focusing on. You see what I'm saying? Or the ones in the West, from the Caribbean on up, as the ones that they was focusing on, especially the ones in the United States, because we was the ones that was privy to the knowledge. Which means that a lot of our brothers and sisters was not fortunate enough to be able to go to a bookstore and buy stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So the knowledge is here. We just, whether you access it or not, it was on your, that's based on you. But anyway, they understood based on the United States that it might come out of this particular part, and they said, oh, wait a minute though. We had the same slavery that was endured in the West. We had an element of the slaves that went back to Africa. And the ones that went back to Africa was Liberia. They didn't have no paper towels or nothing? Oh, they did? Oh, you just needed, oh, I see, okay. Oh, how much was it?
91 cents.
Okay, well, cool, that's cool.
Roll or the napkin?
No, we need what you need, a big-ass roll. We're going to, what you need, you see, just go ahead and take it out. You got $1 in there? I know you got $1 in there. You need some change too? But anyway, yeah, get one of them and all. Hell, we might need 2 of them things with all these Negroes up in here. Here, you might as well get 2. You know what I'm saying? Because I can sweat one of them rolls up myself. Get another $1. Here, you need $1? Here's $1 here. Oh, you got enough? Okay. You know the deal. Anyway, and we just passed that around, you know, and stuff. Just pretend you eating some ribs or something. But anyway, they knew that there was an element that got out of America and went back in those slaves, and that was what? Liberia. That was Liberia. So now what the key is that's one of the main reasons how they had to go in and ramshack that place. But we're talking about the complete continent being wiped out almost. You see what I'm saying? But mainly Liberia was one of the places that they had to hit, because their war started in 1990, and they had to focus on that and hit that for the simple doggone fact that they knew that there was an element of the actual slave that left and went back. So this is what's going on, and it's also going on throughout the whole continent, but Liberia was one of those particular parts. Now, we've come to find out, and I had a picture of this thing, and I just got to go through all these enormous papers and get this picture, that one of the reasons why the white boy could not win Vietnam is because not only do they have their own group of black people over there, the mountain yards, but they got a shrine over there that is made, if you ever saw this shrine, it's got heads in it. This big elaborate shrine has got heads all around it, and it also has UFOs, basically, in this particular shrine on this mountain. So based on the energy there, they could not win that war at all. You see what I'm saying? It's no different than the O.J. Simpson verdict when they took it beyond the person that they could haul in court, and they could have sentenced him overnight and nothing would have happened. But when they made it a phenomenon bigger than just O.J. into the, into what you would call the media blowing this thing all over the world and becoming what they call, and they're going to call it the trial of the century. When they made it on that level, they could not win that particular trial. They might be able to win this one with this other thing because they're keeping it low key. But we're talking about when they put black people on trial, they cannot win this trial. Now, one of the most profound things that Farrakhan said in 1985, we know that this will never happen, and I'll tell you why. He said, told a cracker, do you want your slave to come and go head-up combat in the streets with you, to just come out an all-out fight? Do you want your slave to go to war with you? And he said, if your slave went to war with you, we would win. You see? Because we carried out enough energy Just like the Million Man March. They marched in the front door and they had all these elaborate plans and they marched out and they couldn't do anything because that's enough energy. You understand? That was the amount of energy. So based on that, we understand that in masses we carry enough energy to do it. But based on our mental ability, we know if the cracker declared war on us, half of us would kill each other just to save the damn slave master. You see what I'm saying? Just to save the slave master, because it won't be no more if it was a woman getting beat by the husband and you run up to beat the husband and she take the gun and shoot the shit out of you. That's that same battered wife syndrome. That's the same syndrome. You know, you just go ahead and just pass it on around, you know. Just take the plastic off. That same battered wife syndrome, that's the same syndrome we're talking about here when it comes to black people and their relationship with white people. You know the key on that? The key on that? And especially down south, like they said also too, because we had a close relationship with our slave masters, so we can start over this kind of way. You see what I'm saying? Like I say, if you go to Mullins, my hometown, and talk about them crackers, man, you talking about some people rising up to kill you down there. So what I'm trying to say is, we know that that's not realistically. But then again, on the other hand, it's not necessarily something that can happen anyway, because remember now, we are humane people. And that's not our nature. That's the same thing when I see somebody get on the train and start cursing out white people. Now, you would think this is strange coming from me. You feel a little uncomfortable. Well, it's not necessarily you feel uncomfortable because of the conditioning, because you don't want to offend white people. Because I be laughing sometimes. I make myself laugh because I know this person is right. But I feel uncomfortable because I know that has never been our nature, to be antagonistic to nothing. So that's actually a waste of time in going against our nature just to even hate somebody, because that's not our nature. You understand what I'm saying? So even if we was to say that, we cannot go against our nature, because that's the strongest thing. Now, he could do it in a damn minute. Check? So that's never been our nature. So when we see black people taking up for white people, we understand that that's literally not our nature. And it's a waste of doggone time. Now, when we talk junk about white people or educate you on white people, we're not saying you don't supposed to be a fool and know that this beast has carved your people up over the years. That's history. And you always supposed to deal with truth, right? So if the truth is this hurts, then you know what I'm saying. The truth shoe fits where. But anyway, we know that won't actually happen. So, but like I said, going back to my original premise, a certain energy that in Vietnam, they could not win that Vietnam War. They could not win that Vietnam War and all. And that was some things that also happened. Now, somewhere back, I guess 20, 30 years ago, the government knew that the climax and the combination of all their hard work from the time of Bavaria, when the Illuminati was first started, that they would have to make a Illuminati city that would act as the model for all other cities. Which means, see, even though even though the white boy know his time is up, and he's shaking his boots, he figure, hell, I ain't got nothing to lose in the first place, so I might as well do what I was originally going to do anyway, and go out with a bang. You see what I'm saying? That's just the way he thinks. You see. But anyway, they had to build a Illuminati city, and this city would act as the model for all other cities which is to come. And so it was going to take an elaborate and enormous amount of dollars to finance that particular city. And they used the Olympic money to finance that city. So that city is Atlanta. Well, you say, I don't see nothing, but you don't understand. Probably the complete underground Atlanta. I'm not talking about the little thing you go down here, this little recreation, which is a mall downstairs. I'm talking about a complete other city that rests under Atlanta, which we know it exists, that has the top state-of-the-art everything for what you would call modern day, or what you would call high-tech martial law. We know that particular city, that complete New World Order city, that the government used and picked this particular city for the model, is Atlanta. So from 1990 to 1996, because it was what, September 1990, they found out they was having the Olympics. From that time, they took and they spent to build this elaborate city. Because if you ask yourself this question, if I got 6 years to build the Olympics, why in the hell I'm going to break ground a year before or a couple of months before, whereas it's almost damn near less than a month now and the streets all dug up? You understand? This don't make no sense. I said, well, hell, it seemed to me, come the 1st of Well, actually, it makes sense. 1st of 95, everything's supposed to be completed. But at least the 1st of 96 in January, everything was supposed to be finished. Why is it that they just started breaking ground for a certain amount of things? The key was because they used all that money to build a New World Order city, and after they got through building whatever they got for in the future, other than some 2 weeks worth of fun and games, they said, now we'll take the rest of the money and build for the Olympics. Now let's look at this. They told us that what they're getting ready to do is they're getting ready to do something like a calisthenics. They're getting ready to go in and they're going to build like a movie lot. Because right now you can't see, I can't see myself how in the devil can they finish all what is supposed to be finished in 3 weeks. What they're going to do is they're going to go like they do at Universal Studios. They're going to build certain put down grass and build certain things and make it look all beautiful for the cameras and for the people. And this thing can last a couple of months. You understand? And then when they get through, they're going to tear it all down. You see what I'm saying? And then you'll spend the rest of the whatever time trying to pave some streets or whatever. But the key is, that is because they waited till the end to say, okay, we can finally do something to the Olympics, because really it don't take that much for the Olympics in the first place. They just built this big hype up on all the stuff they had to do because they had to allocate funds for what they really had to do. And so they had to build this hype up that's going to be greater than any other Olympics. Some people, some places, hell, Atlanta, what they had in 1990 is greater than what some other countries held the Olympics years ago. So in actuality, all of this money was to build a New World Order city. And after they got through, then they started doing what is called a dress-up. And basically that's what you have. So the only thing they really built is a doggone stadium here. What's that? That's nothing, you see. But the key is all underground Atlanta, and I'm talking real underground Atlanta, is acting as a model from which all the other cities are supposed to model themselves after, as well as a movie that I'm going to explain when we go into these movies in a few, on some things that you need to also see, both videos as well as going to the movies and actually seeing some things. Now, one other thing too is this. Look at this. You know that this is the end times because all you got to do is you got to start being analytical. Every week they're coming on TV showing you how some dog done turned against the master, or some dog done went wild and start biting up people. And it's been going on since January. Why is this? Why is it that every damn week some dog done mauled some child together to death, or actually some grown person? Or people running in on top of their cars and stuff. Why is this? That is because they understand that based on this particular land was a particular land of nature, and now you domesticated these animals now, and these animals now going back to the original primal point, then therefore they're looking and they're seeing something abnormal now because they're coming out of the sleep. Just like, you know, when you come out of your sleep, you be mad at the cracker. Right? Because you know you coming into some knowledge. Well, these animals now are coming up out of their sleep, basically, of being in bondage too, and now they're looking, they're saying, hey, this ain't right. So now they got elephants attacking people. You see what I'm saying? Bears and all kinds of stuff like this. This is a reason, and it's going on all over the doggone country, where you had 28,000 postal workers that was bitten in 1995. 28,000 that was bitten in 1995. They even got little plaques for them this year and stuff, you see. Black and white, because they look at us and they say, well, you know, you ain't normal, you a Negro. You know what I'm saying? So they just territorial, so they're killing now. And this is very interesting that you have these things. You got 28,000 postal workers. Now, the black churches. First of all, what we got is this. We do know that based on the 501c3 law that the black churches has been concurrently, along with the government, a point or focus of the government used the black churches, and the black churches has been government installations to keep you oppressed all these years. So it's more than fair that you do see the government deteriorating based on from the government on down, and also all different branches of the government deteriorating, as well as the black church. Now, that don't necessarily mean that the government is setting them afire or whatever. It still means that the spirit energy realm that we are in is putting thoughts in people's head, whether it be conspiracy or whether it be some copycat. It's still, we're talking about a a point in time when these houses that used to keep us down, that if you really look at the history of the black church, it has probably done more to keep you in slavery than it did to help you. So as a result, it is spiritual that these churches are now being cut down to size. You understand what I'm saying? And to let you know that it was such a burden on the government, that's why Clinton had to go run out to the black churches. Because I said, well, you know, we can't say that Clinton and them are doing it because they love the black churches. You see what I'm saying? He came to the black church 3 weeks ago and told them, I know you will do the right thing. We're getting ready to put black children into curfew before 11 o'clock. Now, they use the Freakniks as a model where they start snatching Negroes up, little black children up at 9 o'clock. You see, and you know, at 9 o'clock. Some sisters that was conscious were saying, you know, what you doing with my child? But you know, majority of the Negroes up in there, oh, I'm just glad they called me, I let him spend the night in jail. Now, who put that thought in your mind that you're going to let your precious child spend a damn night in any cracker jail? You see what I'm saying? You bring about more resentment from your child than teaching him a damn lesson. You see. So the key is they used that model, what, 2 months ago, to set up, and now they're getting ready to do this national curfew. But who did he go to get the actual endorsement? He went to the black churches about 2 weeks ago, Bill Clinton. Now, how in the hell Bill Clinton is all of a sudden taking interest in our youth? You see what I'm saying? When our youth has been dying for the last 10 years wholesale. All of a sudden now, you see, he's interested in putting chips in the damn TV to save something on what a person sees, and yet you got over 50 years of history or 40-something years of history of TV where you just got all kind of wild stuff. At least 20-something years or 30, 25 years of raw everything, suggestion or whatever you want to say. Kids know what the hell going on. And you got cable where you just got it straight out. But all of a sudden they're taking an interest in this thing. So the whole key is, we know that he came there to actually calm them Negroes down, saying, we're going to try to get on top. We're going to try to pass laws. So this is serious. This is just like hitting the Pentagon. You messing with our damn black churches. You see what I'm saying? Now, isn't it interesting? Now, two things happened last week that is very spiritual. On his way to the church, the damn planes start going crazy because they killed Ron Brown ass. So therefore now, since they say you made that law that you taking government officials out of the sky, we saying that ain't no motherfucking government officials gonna live up in here. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Since you done made the law, because see, whatever law that they make for us is coming back on them. That's reciprocity. So the planes start jerking and stuff, and that was a scare. You see what I'm saying? What happened? The same day or the day before or the day after, Bush and this Negro, Colin Powell on the plane, and the plane does the same damn thing, bumping all over the doggone place, and they barely make it down. All because they took the black brothers' plane out of the sky a couple of months ago. You see what I'm saying? And so therefore they made that law, and because they made that law, it ain't safe for none of no government officials to be flying around in no planes. You see, because they put that out in the universe. And it's interesting that one happened one day and one happened the actual other happened the other day. Now this is interesting. I was telling my brother, my friend Rodney this. When I used to be in college, we'd go down to my hometown during the summer, and we worked for the tobacco industry, because all of the tobacco industries were set up in Mullins. You go, they got R.J. Reynolds, Winston-Salem's, Cools, Marlboro's, and you would go there and you'd work in the tobacco industry and make cold cash for the summer. All the people in high school, all the people from college and all that would come home and they would work and stuff. So I was working for R.J. Reynolds, and there was a brother that I had gone to school with in junior high school. And he used to live right across the street from me. I said, damn, I ain't seen you in about 4 or 5 years. I said, I haven't seen you about 4 or 5 years. And the brother said, man, I was in a slave camp. He said, I was in a slave camp. And he said, you know Richard Darby, which was another person that we knew that lived around the corner. He said, he in there right now. He said, but I escaped. So, you know, back then, this thing didn't register. This was about 10 years ago. This was about almost 15 years ago. It did not register. So we just shoved it off and said, you know, that nigga crazy anyway, you know. He probably was up there working, because we know we probably up there sharecropping for somebody, and they just kept that nigga behind or whatever. He owed them niggas some money, you see, or something like that. So we snubbed it off. But it's funny, we haven't seen again, this guy named Richard Darby. Never saw him again. And he said he was still in there, but this brother escaped. So in actuality, I'm looking at these things, and now I'm recalling things because we know they have these slave camps, because they got 2 million black people in concentration camps now, from lawyers on down to from the bourgeois to the hee-haws. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm saying, damn, this brother told me this over 15 years ago, that he was in a slave camp, and he escaped. You see what I'm saying? And now I'm looking, in his hindsight, it's 2020, but I'm looking at these things. But back then, I was a dead nigga, and he was like, oh, you know. You see, just like most people, we always justify something in our mind until the cracker come on TV and tell you that there's actually slave camps. You see, what's that?
They had them since the 50s.
Yeah, they've always had them. They've always had them. As a matter of fact, like I said, they made the actual announcement on TV, slavery in America, on July 23rd of 1995. But they threw people off on CNN when they showed a little bit of black people, you know, over some little camps. And that wasn't nothing but some little migrant worker type big deal. But they was actually telling the people, hey, slavery is all a part of, is all back in session now. Now this is interesting, because there's a tape out called Mind Control in America, where they tell you that all the newscasters, they sound alike to keep you in a mind control. And like I said before, if you notice, it's not news, it's just basically current events that they go and they say, well, go over this side of town and activate a killing, or go over here and make some stuff happen, because we got to have news because it makes money. But if you notice it's not news, because right in your neighborhood you might have 10 different things happening, and you can't get all the gossip. So why is it when you turn on the news, each news station have the same thing? You can click, he talking about so-and-so, so-and-so, you click, same thing. So you go to the national level, it's the same thing. Seems to me, if it was reporting news, you say, well, hell, I can turn to this station, now we're going to turn to channel 2 and see what they got. And it should be all totally different, right? So the whole key was that we know that the news and all that is based, and the news is actually created to keep you dead, but also news is also created because it's a billion-dollar industry. You see what I'm saying? It's a billion-dollar industry. And the only reason why some things slip up sometime is because they didn't call ahead and tell the person the 411 on what the actual program going to be. So this brother went and printed the truth. He was like, oh, man, well, hell, you didn't call me in time enough, so I printed the damn truth. He said, I'm sorry, man, you know, you need to be on it. That's the only reason why other news gets through. But they have a whole segment in America, in Britain called, and the British TV is always dropping the bombs on America, called censorship in America, just like if you go out west. Now, my girl is from out west, and her mother called and said they got all these TV shows on in California talking about how the water in Atlanta is just pure raw sewage. But they will come here and just tell you, oh, we got a little bit of enzymes or whatever little thing like this. And they'll give you, say, oh, well, they're saying that, you know, they're going to have to look into it and clean up the water a little bit. You know, you just think, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of dust particles getting in it. But all out west, they're talking about how literally the Chattahoochee River is nothing but where they dump sewage, and all the water in Atlanta is coming from raw sewage. And they got this whole phenomenon out in California. And she's calling, but we didn't hear it here. Nothing. You see, that's the key. You see, so that's showing you that in actuality, the mind control, another thing, this mind control. The black preachers, why in the hell do they all sound alike? Some guy that had him, the guy couldn't even explain how his damn church was burning down. And they come up in here, come on, just tell them how you damn well first set the church on fire. And 6 o'clock this morning, what the hell, look at this damn idiot here. Head full of grease, it's 6 o'clock this morning. Now, did you see these other idiots? Now, this has got to be the lowest point. Yeah. In Oklahoma, the damn church burning down, and these niggas up there done got the choir out there at the burn site while the damn fireman trying to put it out. They singing, I sing because I'm happy. See this shit? I sing because I'm, and the damn church burning down. This idiotic thing. But the mind control, because if you get the book, did she ever get in those books in Pacts with the Devil, which is a key book? I recommend the book for those people that ain't all stuck into what you call moral dogma. But in the back, he says that they have analyzed it in all sorts of organized religions as far as what we know of as insanity. It's a form of insanity. So yes, these preachers all sound alike because we know that based on the training at from the Freedmen's Bureau, we know that it's by design that they taught these preachers how to sound alike. You see what I'm saying? And if you holler at a person long enough and get their emotions up, you can get what the hell and see, I even learned that stuff, but you don't have to worry about it. I ain't shitting you, I'm just loud anyway. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, you know, they all sound alike, and that's all a part of mind control. Very key that we understand those type of things. Now, the beautiful thing, like I'm saying, we know that we are in the last hours. The beautiful things are happening now. I look at the churches burning down, and I'm so happy. Niggas running off, I'm just happy. You know what I'm saying? Negroes and stuff, you know. Because we know that the government is using that for too. Another thing is, here's this old Montel Williams ass. Oh, you couldn't tell him nothing. He got his white stripper, white blonde wife, running around, got a book called Mountain, Move Out of My Way. And no, he just old arrogant Negro, talking junk about OJ and just, he's just all arrogant. And so now they're getting ready to show you just another nigger too. And you done crossed the line with this white woman, so you the new OJ. And so now they put the lawsuit on his butt, the harassment suit last week. And like this time, they not letting too many Negroes go out of court this time like they did the OJ thing. They got one past the goalie, but most of the time, he might burn for that.
They said he was calling the women, the female employees, whores on the job.
Yeah. Yeah. Whores and having meetings in his drawers and all kinds of stuff like that. You see. So, and all kind of stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is what you're dealing with here is, I'm looking at this and I'm saying that all over the place, this thing is actually happening. So this is beautiful. I mean, it's actually happening and it's going all over the actual place. So let's deal with some other thing. I want to deal with this value jet thing. We're just going through some what you call it because I want to show you how corporate war can take over everything. First of all, value jet was the fastest moving and fastest growing airline venture in America. So now all you got to do is go back and look at the movie Scarface. You remember on Scarface told he was working for, he first got on with his first boss. He said, man, we can make more money, we can get big. And the boss kept saying, I don't want to get big. He said, once I get big, I got to owe these people favors, and the next thing you know, I end up dead in the lake somewhere. He was saying, you know, it's best to just stay and make my couple of $1 million or my couple of $100,000 and be cool. So that's what, you saw, remember that? But what's the name went and got big, and he ended up owing somebody a favor. And you know what I'm saying? So the key was, when Kiwi came out a few months before that, you know, they said, okay, we ain't going to be big because we know the deal. We know that they took People's Express back in 1985. Remember People's Express? And what happened? Delta ran their asses right out of business. You see what I'm saying? Okay, they said, we're not going to get big. So they said Newark and a couple other places, and that was it. So ValueJet comes up, and they just spread out, and they're just like roaches. They just infect everything, and now they got a doggone hub in every part of the East Coast. And enforcing the big corporations like Delta, Continental, and, what's that, American Airlines. They're saying, we got to take these people down. You see what I'm saying? And they made the last mistake. They opened up in LaGuardia. They were supposed to open up in February, but Delta blocked it. So they opened back up. So they found that they couldn't keep them out of there, so they opened up in LaGuardia, and 2 weeks later, Delta puts the bombs on the plane and blow the plane up. But it blows the plane up about 2 or 3 weeks right after the Oklahoma bombing, but they came in with the Oklahoma bombing and had a celebration with this thing all of a sudden. It's like Memorial Day now. You see what I'm saying? So they blow the plane up, make sure there are no survivors. That makes it more sensationalized, because they have plane wrecks all the time. But as long as you see somebody say, man, I'm glad I got out alive, you say, okay, it wasn't as bad. So they make sure there's no survivors, period. So they blow the plane up because they open up in LaGuardia, because they got Miami, they got LaGuardia. They say, well, first of all, we got to cripple them for the Olympics, because Delta is the #1 carrier of the Olympics. And both Delta and Coca-Cola, what? Runs Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? In part of the world. And since ValueJet is based out of Atlanta, they say, we got to cripple them for the Olympics, but we got to run them out of business. Since it's a big corporation and there's no such thing as governments, period, we know who owns the FAA. But the FAA is Delta, Continental. That's just the United doggone airplanes that got together and got some checks and balances going in there, put federal on it. There ain't no such thing as no government. It's all corporations. You understand what I'm saying? So the FAA comes in and all of a sudden, well, hell, they had a plane crash About a month, in January or February, you remember in South America. You didn't hear nothing about it almost. A few days and it was gone. Hell, they had 3 plane crashes with U.S. Air in '94. They took a little bit of heat, but my God. But then again, there was not a small carrier that was actually taking all this money from people, with people saying, well, hell, you know, 2 hours, an hour and a half, 3 hours maximum across the country. I can bear and grin it for this cheap price. But since they're not going across the country, what, an hour and a half? I'll go on ValueJet and to pay all this big, large money, because before they had this doggone people that was challenging them, the major airlines can charge you what the hell you would, you know, they charge you anything and you'd have to accept it. Oh, well, that's just airfare, it's just high that way. So they proved it, and actually didn't have to be that way, because they say they saved a couple of $1 million off of tickets. We don't print no tickets, so so I can cut you some money. So what it was is Delta blew them out of the doggone sky. And because Delta and the big one, the big 3, I don't know what they are, is the actual FAA, they're actually running them out. They did it with doggone People's Express back in the 80s. And so this is what's going on with ValueJet. Just want you to know. And basically, what does this have to do with anything? It goes down to tell you in actuality there's no such thing as government, period. It's just big corporations. That's what the Ku Klux Klansman Tom Metzger told one of these little, some veteran. Oh, I went to the Persian Gulf. And so Tom Metzger is the head of the Klansmen. They the smart Klansmen. He was like, oh, you didn't go to, he said, here's a black man that's proud. Here's a black man that's boasting about going to Saudi Arabia and killing another black man, because ain't nothing over there but Negroes. I went because of the United States of America. He said, you didn't go because of no United States of America. You went to fight for damn major corporations. Is who you went to fight for. You see what I'm saying? And Reverend Buffon was on the TV with this cat. Oh, we're going to shut you down. We're going to pass laws to get rid of you and your Ku Klux Klan. And the guy was telling him, Tom Metzger said, don't you know, man, every law that you pass for me is for yourself. The boys that you call the Congress, I'm down with all of them. We just broke off in fashions to fool your ass, in factions to fool your ass. I just represent the militant voice of the same Newt Gingriches and stuff. Don't you know every law you pass for me is for you, because this is a damn fraternity? So he was telling the militias, he said, you assholes, you up in the army fatigues. He said, my skin is my badge. He said, you doggone white militias, you won't last 3 days against the doggone Crips and the Bloods. You see. And he told them, he said, anytime y'all go and fight the government, told the black people that we'll be out there kicking them in their ass too. So what I'm trying to say is we ain't trying to get up with no white supremacy. What I'm trying to say is this Tom Metzger, they know what's going on, because he even talked about move. Before all the militia thing that went down, they talked about move. So this just letting you know that it's the big corporations, and even the Ku Klux Klans know there's no such thing as an America. Check? Okay. So who was that came up to me and told me about the Atlanta child murders? They had an actual mother. This mother talked about that some people came and got her and took her to let her go see her daughter. The daughter was still alive. Anyway, the CDC was killing all the children and extracting the interferon and the melanin out of them, which they learned how to create Ebola, and they learned how to clone black people from. Anyway, and they blamed it on this scapegoat. She said they took her to see her daughter that wasn't dead yet, but she looked, you know, these little children was what, 8, 9 and stuff? They say the daughter looked like she was about 35 or 40 years old. 8-year-old daughter. But that's all the experiments they had on her. And they literally took her to see this daughter. She said she saw her daughter and she looked like she was about 35 or 40 years old. You see what I'm saying? So these are the experiments they were doing. And it was interesting because it was in one of my lectures, and a brother came up to me and he was telling me, I was riding somewhere, I can't remember, and he was telling me about a woman that lives in Atlanta. He told me the name and everything, and how they took her and they said the child looked that old. You see, which is also living proof that in actuality that they did these doggone experiments with our particular people. So now, we remember Brother Dawood said that they got a government bill that outlaws, that will lock it, that says this bill is supposed to have a law to lock up anyone who is found contacting UFOs, although the government said that UFOs don't exist. We have the bill, and it should be on its way. It's coming from Detroit. Lo and behold, like I said, I got the brother in Detroit, and he called me the other day, and he said he got this bill that is supposed to be coming He actually went and found the bill at the University of Michigan and actually sending it down here. So we do have this bill. So if there's no such thing as UFOs, why in the hell the government got a bill? But we actually got the literal bill now also too. Also, he's sending me some information on this. I don't want to get into it until I actually read it. He couldn't go through it. He couldn't go through it on the phone because he just got it from the white boys. But it's some government information because all these bills are now coming up based on the internet. Stuff is all coming out now. The information superhighway. All the metaphysical books and all that stuff is now on the internet. And all you need is a box of paper, and people are downloading stuff as soon as they get it. So now the white boys are putting the actual bills, and they're coming out. One of the bills and one of the actual documents that's coming out is the Maulana Karenga's documents that's coming out based on the actual COINTELPRO that was with Maulana Karenga, and they actually was the person that got with him and told him, we want you to start Kwanzaa. It was started by the government. Now, I don't want to elaborate it because I don't have the bill yet, but be sure it's going to be here in the next week or so. The brother, and it goes through this whole thing about why they would do this as either some tracking system or some type of alternative, ulterior motive. You see what I'm saying? To actually track people in a certain way to get them off of a level that they were actually taking. And so when the actual Afro, it's funny how we go into cycles. The consciousness, they started this Kwanzaa, then the conscious level came back up late 80s, 90s, and then Kwanzaa came back in. And now all of a sudden the TV shows, the TV stations, all your news stations during Christmas, they recognize Kwanzaa all of a sudden. You see, now they started reporting on Kwanzaa all of a doggone sudden. You see what I'm saying? And different things like that and all, but what we're trying to say is these are the white boys. And they ain't trying to sabotage because they're putting the stuff on the internet for their people. You see what I'm saying? And it's dealing with Maulana Karenga's involvement, and also they use, and they were the ones behind starting Kwanzaa, the white boys, the government was. So, you know, that's some things too. Also, they're saying that when it comes to women, and this is some things that we understand here too, and I'm not necessarily saying it's the sisters and the brothers here, but basically you got a lot of, when I've been traveling all over the country, and you got to have, there's a lot of brothers been coming up to me, and some sisters too, because it's not just that way, and they were saying about how they were into consciousness, but basically it was a lot of brothers was into consciousness, and the sisters was only, they were either partially into it based on, you know, they were supporting the male, but some of them were rejecting it, and why is this imbalance? Well, one thing is happening also, too, that we found out is that if a sister is into consciousness before she has a child, she can carry a certain amount of consciousness with her. But what happens is if you are a person that is not into consciousness, and when you have that child, you give a certain energy to that child so that child can have a chance to not be a damn fool. And so it chooses to be. Each person has a time when they can tap into some things. So when I talk about, sometime when we talk about each person have their timer, well, some people are actually searching and stuff, but a lot of that energy is given to that particular child and that particular person. If you notice a mother, when she has a child, everything goes towards that. This doesn't have anything to do with saying if you got a child, you're not going to be consciousness, because if you're consciousness before that time, then it comes, you know, you can't forget consciousness, you will keep on. But a lot of times this is what's happening also too. And now we understand now when it comes to the government being behind, as they say, the government has a lot to do with actually having a lot of sisters at a young age to have children. So it can destroy their chance of not actually getting to a certain level of consciousness, because they have to take all the energy and put with that child. Because if you notice, a child is a hard job. And if you are not conscious before you go into it, you understand, it means that you won't get that cycle again sometime until you later on in life. You see, and some people never. You see what I'm saying? Some people never are the same. So that's what. So in actuality, this is actually what's happening with a lot of sisters around the way. Also, too, when we also talk about this as far as different mates too. Now they made this observation, and I said this in New York too. I said it comes to the point where as you have to really, at this particular time, you really have to, your mate has to be on a certain level with you. Well, sometimes, because even when you have sex, there's a certain sexual energy. And if your mate is not on the same realm that you own, it might not take you down, but it can hinder you. Because when you have sex, the sexual union is a merge. You see, what happened was, it's all the thing about sex. The original sex before homosexuality crept in based on the European cultures and based on when our culture started deteriorating down the line, a lot of hatred for the male, female started. You know, when you have what you call a nomadic, people go nomad, they turn against the females because of the harsh times around them. It's based on the geographical climates. So, based on a lot of homosexuality started creeping around doing 2,000 years ago, and mainly with also the Greeks and the Romans who fashioned most of the damn by what you call a byproduct of the religion, of their ancient religions that you had. They fashioned some of these. What happens is when you have this particular homosexuality creep in, they turned against all of the actual sexual functions and made you think that it's all bad. Lust is good. And let me explain this to you. Lust is good. The divine whore in ancient time, I know this is hard for you to fathom because you were so conditioned to understand what is called moral dogma. But what they mean by the divine whore is not necessarily talking about a prostitute, but it's also talking about women, spiritual femininity, where you would literally cultivate the spiritual sexual energy to raise your spiritual awareness. So when the homosexuality crept in, you see what I'm saying, especially when you talk about white Arabs, as a part of that too, based on, you know, white Arabs and the Greeks and the Romans, they turned against the woman, so they made everything sexual bad. You see what I'm saying? They made it bad. And so you think that sex was only created for procreation. Procreation was secondary. You see what I'm saying? That's like giving. Hell, you're on the planet, you're going to procreate sometime or other, but that's secondary. You see, but the sexual act is a high spiritual process. So even in these days, you must somehow kind of way is to try to get your mate to understand some level of it. There's certain levels that even people dead can actually get to that level and be comfortable with it. As long as they have a general overall view and a love for black people, then you're all right, basically. If they truly love black people, then even though their conscious mind ain't getting with nothing, subconsciously their energy is still rising. Because now we're talking in days, and we're talking about sooner or later all of us tapping in daily now, because now they're playing catch up. So that sexual union, sometimes you must have a certain union as far as ideology with your mate, because when you merge and stuff, it can hinder you. We'll go into that deeper when we go back into question and answer, question and answers also in a few and all. Now, this is interesting. We was talking about this. The sister was saying, well, and this is another thing. The sister was saying, well, I noticed that a lot of people past 40s, they're having a lot of problems. If they didn't get it before then, they'd have a lot of problems accepting this stuff. And what happens is, the ego is the only thing that you didn't have before you came here, and is the only thing that you don't need, because that is the object of all your problems, is based on your ego and your individual selfishness. So what happened was, with years of living with a certain ego, and they got certain milling institutions, and I'm going to explain that in a few minutes, what a milling institution is, that cultivates the ego, where you have this individualism. Years of this individualism and this mass ego, this mass ego assumption. When you get past the 30 mark and going on into the 40s and in later life, what happens is, if you do not cultivate it with certain knowledge or certain humility, also come with the brothers and sisters on the street, or somehow sever yourself from the grassroots, when you get past 40, the ego actually turns in on you, and the flame and the fire that most youth have, it dies down, and then you become complacent, you become scared, you know what I'm saying, you become passive. You understand? And you become more and more dead. That is because, now what I mean by that is this. There's certain milling institutions, and a milling institution in slavery, they used to have what is called a mill. A mill is a place that goes and it gets the husk out of the grain and it refines the grain. So they took years to mill you from a process of your original nature. That's the milling institution. To keep that up with the offspring of the children, because remember now, you inherit some of your parents' vision and offspring. So they set a timer off in you in slavery. That's why I say, oh, he's just like his father, just like your mother. You inherit some of the actual mental ability of your parents. So to make sure that that particular part can stay on a certain level that you're the same Negro you were out of slavery, they invented modern-day milling institutions, such as college, the military, the police force, jobs and stuff like this. Whereas, you know, you in high school, and everybody the same damn way. You know what I'm saying? You on the same plane. You got to be on the same plane because there's peer pressure there. You know what I'm saying? But you all one. It's negative in one way, but it's good in another way. But somehow when you go to college, you somehow separate from the brother or sister that did not go, and you're never really the same with them. That is because it's a certain milling institution that has set forth a certain ideas, and not necessarily college. It can be your occupation, your job. Certain milling institution has got to do with the police force or the military or what, if you don't get on top of that. It's a certain, you understand what I'm saying? A certain occupations. The church can be one. Whereas a person is down with you, all of a sudden they went into this church, which is the mill, and all of a sudden they act superior over you. Because you don't share the same view of the Lord as this person do. Not saying you ain't a Christian, because that's all you know. But there's 10,000 different branches of Christianity. And everybody's saying that theirs is better than the other. That's a milling institution. And what happens is, if you don't become one and ground it into what is called some form of humility, or keep a certain love for the love for a certain person, not based on an economic, social, political, and social and political situation, you later on become a victim, and you later on become dead within that particular system. So a lot of people, as they get a certain age, they just die. And that is because of a certain institution that they went to, be college, be a certain job, occupation, or position. You understand what I'm saying? This is what actually happens to them. You see, so that's why sometimes when you see people that was rebellious to the society, drunks, bums, murderers, you see what I'm saying? Prostitutes, people that they tell you the sinners, people that they tell you are the bad guys. In actuality, because of their rebellion to the society, sometimes if you can get the thievery out of their mind, or whatever type of thing, because that's not even thing. Most black people are good people anyway. If you can get some of these things, some of these people are some of your most down-to-earth people. That's why when they go, some of those people, when they go to prison, when they find an organization that's suitable against the damn government, they go right into it. That's why the nation was very good with that. Moors and different things like that. But then you have an element that go up in there and they get in the damn church, and all of a sudden they separate from the other ones. And I know what I'm talking about, because when I went and spoke in the prison, the Moors was in there, the Sufi Muslims was in there, the Sunni Muslims was in there, the Nation of Islam was in there, and Yahweh ben Yahweh, any type of group, but the Christians were standing on the outside waiting for us to get through at the chapel. But here come the damn white preacher right beside them, and they got the damn Bible, you see. But they can't join with their people. So these certain milling institutions, and what it is, when you get to a certain level, if you don't put yourself in check, you will become your parents. You've heard that, some people saying, damn, I can't believe this. You didn't hear white people on TV saying, I'm looking and I never thought, but I've now become my parents. You see, but when I was younger, I despised their outlook on life, because they told me I got to be palatable to the marketplace or to the system. So now they have become that, but that's because of the actual milling institutions that they actually set forth. So the white boy tell you to get a good education, good religion. You see what I'm saying? Get a good job. You're nothing in this society. You see, and that's always, how are you going to build an institution where everybody who breaks the law is the bad guys? You see, and like I told you before, if you in that Hollywood, you cannot be in Hollywood and last over 3 years and say you're going to have a successful job in this industry if you don't play a police officer. And you can't name but 2 or 3 black actors who haven't yet played police officers. That's up there. Denzel, police officers, Wesley Snipes, Samuel L. Jackson, anyone you name, even the females, somewhere in their career, they have to play a police officer because they want to still raise the police officer up as God in the society. Check? And although they might have a cool with Eddie Murphy blowing away people and telling jokes, he still played a several Beverly Hills Cop, 1, 2, and 3. You understand how that goes? And this is, and so these are these actual milling institutions that we actually have to actually fight to not get assumed by. Now listen to this. There's 2 books that you can get. One is called Where Science and Magic Meat, or When Science and Magic Meat. This is a good book on melanin. This is a good book on melanin the white boys done wrote, and they keep coming out with stuff. It's called When Science and Magic Meat. Is all the tissue gone? Did all them towers go? When Science and Magic Meet, or Where Science is, that's one, and it's by Element Books. Another book is coming from England. It's called Shadow Matter and Psychic Phenomenon. I don't know the name of the one of When Science and Magic Meet, but the one called Shadow Matter and Psychic Phenomenon. And it says, Shadow Matter and Psychic Phenomenon, a scientific investigation into the psychic phenomenon possible for after life and also possible for life after death. It's by Jared D. W-A-S-S-E-R-M-A-N, Wasserman, Ph.D. Now, I don't recommend this book I don't recommend this book to have a book just to be a simplistic book. This is a book that is very high scientific, but then again, for those people that say that they want to prove something to all your rational and scientific type of people, because you got these black people saying that melanin doesn't exist and it doesn't make a difference. This particular book is a scientific book that you put this in the face, it's like that Diop thing. They can't get around it. So this book is very technical. So I wouldn't recommend this book if you are not really interested in reading a lot of technical things also too. Now it's interesting because these movies that's coming out, and this is interesting because I want to read some things to you, but there's several movies coming out where, and even what's her name talked about this, Steve Coakley, where they're having these movies where black people are actually going in and saving white people, like Mission Impossible. This black guy broke into Langley and got these government agents on these lists and stuff and saved Tom Cruise and helped him out. The movie, it's funny, this movie that's coming out next week, Eraser. Vanessa Williams is the one that is that important to the government that they got to try to erase. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, the movie, if you can still see it, I don't know if it's still at Phipps Plaza. Let me see if I got the newspaper. It might be gone, but then again, if it's gone, you're going to have to just wait for the video. But wait for the video. It was called Barbed Wire. I think it'll be at the Dollar Flick, but go see the movie. You go see the movie. It might be coming to the Dollar Flick in 2 weeks, but when it does come, it's the one that's with Pamela Anderson. But they do this to throw you off. You know, she the one with the big fake boobs and all this stuff, and she the next Marilyn Monroe. So now they do these, they use these movies to throw you off. You say, well, that's one of them old Pamela Anderson. Well, I'm not going to see this cracker. They only use her as the action element or the sexual element, which most black people, you ain't going to a movie now that's got action. You're interested in the entertainment, and you're not actually interested in the movie. So now, in this movie, they use her as the actual action element, but the movie is all about the girl, Drusilla, that plays Drusilla on Young and the Restless, this girl. The movie is all about her working for the government and help the government create the virus that kill everybody, which is the same thing most of our people. They say, mix up this thing. Then they take it straight to the ghetto, and you mix the shit up. You see what I'm saying? So we got a lot of people kill our people and not inadvertently. Working for, so we take pride in working for Dow Chemical and Dow, whatever, all this kind of shit, you know, just giving you know the deal, all this pharmaceutical and all this stuff here, and all these laboratories. So she was working, but then again, on the other hand, when she found out what she did, she had the cure. So the whole earth is trying to find her. Either the Gestapo is trying to kill her, or the underground movements is trying to get the cure to this disease, because the whole earth is under martial law. The whole America's under martial law but one city. They're trying to get this one black girl. But there's one guy but now the mark of the beast is not no chip. The mark of the beast is your eye retina. You see, so you wonder why they ain't installed a chip yet, is because now they can use that, and everything in these movies is technology that they have. If it's not technology that they don't have, they don't put it in the movies. So now they're showing the eye retina, and they're showing how they got your whole life history on the eye retina. So the whole key is she looks like Drusilla, but she was a prototypical West African sister, probably looked like you, but she trained herself to look like Drusilla, you see, you know that sister, you know the one I'm talking about, to get past the guards. But they said, don't worry about how she changed herself with plastic surgery. We can scan her eye retina. So the whole thing is that somebody invented some contact lens that can get past the station, because they got to get her on a plane to take her a certain way so she can give some underground chemist the actual cure. So here's a movie that nobody ever thought, and we ran up on mistake, and it's all the stuff is dropping in the movie. You see, so now all the stuff is coming out in the actual movie. Now the key is this here, the movie Dragon Heart. Very key movie you need to go see because you thinking this is a damn child's movie, and it's only playing at one place, the Terror Cinema on Cheshire Bridge. Now this movie, they show a dragon, and they'll show some people, I guess a couple of 200, 300, 400 years ago, the European. And the European is living simultaneously with the dragon. And the key to the dragon is symbolic of the ancient black people that lived in Europe that the white boy killed off. So the dragon slayer is none other than the Europeans that ran the Egyptians out of Scotland, Ireland, and different places in Europe. You see. And so Dragonheart, Sean Connery is actually playing an ancient black man because he tell him at first, he said, when our race was ancient and your race was young. And they killed him off at the last one, just like, you know, and so it also represents the Moor that was kicked out of Spain. So when you see these movies, they're symbolic. That's like the movie Gargoyles. We were betrayed by a group by the humans that we sought to protect. That's the Moors that came and gave the actual, white people civilization, and then was thrown out of Spain. And the Egyptians, the snake people, when what's his name chased all the snakes out of Ireland, St. Patrick's, and Scotland, pharaohs of Scotland. So the gargoyles that come on every day at 4:30, which they had one in there, they say tapping into melanin files, where this robot was tapping into melanin files. You see what I'm saying? They had now, but they got a sister on there named, let me just tell you the scenario. So they wake up after so many years, and they're in New York City now. But because they're like us, just coming out of slavery, they don't know that the white man is the enemy, although they don't trust the white man. But there was one of them that didn't go through the sleep because they slept for 1,000 years because it was put under a spell by this white magician. So there was one sister named Mona, the gargoyle, that didn't sleep for 1,000 years. And on one of the episodes, she's telling you, look, don't never trust these humans. But when they say that, they're talking about white people. Now, this is all, Walt Disney put this thing out. Say, don't trust them. And so, the Goliath is saying, you know, he's one of the people that just waking up out of slavery. He's saying, well, if once they get used to us, they will accept us. And she's saying, hell, they was used to you 1,000 years ago, and they killed you. Never accept them. They say they will never accept you. So now, when you see the gargoyles is nothing but the ancient black people, but they're waking up now. And now they're in the West. New York City just represents the West, and they're talking about the ones that was hit in the head and went into slavery. So these are things that's also going on. Go see the movie The Phantom. The Phantom has on a purple suit that represents you, your black body. He has a ring that represents the third eye. And they got these 3 skulls that got the energy that can rule the earth. And he said now there was a 4th skull that had the potency of the 3 skulls, and he found out that he had the ring with him. He said, I didn't know I had the power the whole time, which represents I didn't know I had the power the whole time. The power to rule the universe is in the 3rd eye, or the 1st eye. And then once he realized he had the power, it shot out a purple light, which is the brow chakra, which is a purple. And it blew up the other 3 skulls, which represent, I got the power. And he was basically represented as the black man. But his father was killed, just like the Osiris story. His father was killed, and they had phantoms throughout the years to avenge the father. That's the movie The Phantom, playing at Lenox Square. Another movie to go see, Jumanji. You thought it was a kid movie. But see, we're trying to find out different ways to get out of this. And we know nothing political, social, and mundane it'll make you feel good. It'll give you the notion to go out and march and do all kind of social activities. And yes, you can get a little bit of money yourself to be content. And I'm saying that the cracker's going to give you some money. I don't say not get the money. I'm just saying that don't be fooled and thinking unless all our black people become millionaires, which is an idiotic thing, but that's the only way we're going to get out of this economics. You see? Because he don't even operate off money. So, but Jumanji is dealing with how you can play this game and you can open up different dimensions. And you thought the movie was a child's movie. Go see Jumanji, a must-see. I think it's still at the Dollar Flick right now. So now, it's $15 you can buy it on video, but also it's at the Dollar Flick. So go see Jumanji, very key, because that's all you're going through right now. You bouncing off this cracker, you bouncing off black people that hate you. You can't get along with each other. That's like a Monopoly game. Or that's like a game. You turn a spin. The spin can either go good or bad. So you got several risks. You know, you got several risks and stuff. You see what I'm saying? And they're bouncing off the type thing and all this kind of thing here. What the deal is when you're dealing with these particular things, that's what the movie is dealing with. It's actually dealing with your life cycle. So are you still the 6 or what you want to do? Okay, well, whatever way you want to do it, it's cool. Whatever. You the house man. Okay, so see the movie Jumanji. Now, they got Hollywood commercials, TV shows, one called The Dark Skies is coming out. And all this stuff is dealing with the UFOs now, which is one of the key things why I'm here now, because I'm getting ready to set you up and show you what's actually going on. Now, all this stuff is dealing with the UFOs and different things. Now, how many people saw the movie Arrival yet? The man on CBS News that came on Sunday tell you, no matter how good or bad the movie is, he told all white people, you must go see the movie. You see, it ain't coming on the news no more. It ain't coming in a lot of history books because history is a lie. Agreed upon. It's coming in the movies, comic books, video games, and different things like that. Cartoons. We live in an apocalyptic age. It's anything that you can rationalize as it coming into as far as you going somewhere and getting the usual way of doing it. The cracker is smart enough not to put it there. So now, The Arrival has been out 2 weeks. It's one of the most important movies you need to go see. Although it may seem like another UFO movie, it is not. I'll give you one key in the movie. The scenario of the movie is that in the end, one of the main aliens is a little black boy. And Charlie Sheen turns to that black boy and turns to him and says, we know who you are. Yep. We know who you are. And say, you go tell your people that we know who you are. Now, why did this go down in the movie? Now, remember now, no, if you're a hardhead, no, sister, you can go ahead. The hardheads already know. If you're a hardhead, unask the seat and let the sister sit down. Let the sister sit down. You see what I'm saying? You know. And not only that, too, if, you know, yeah, that's cool. Let the sister sit down at least. You see. So, in the movie, they'll show them going to Mexico where they so-called these aliens have taken over this base in Mexico, and these aliens, this little black boy is this alien. I'm not going to give you the whole movie. But it's very key at the end, he points to the little black boy and say, we know who you are. That's the key to the movie. It's about this little black boy. Who are the aliens? You are the aliens. The word alien is a Gnostic term that comes from Gnosticism, the Gnostic religion by Hans Jonas, the message of an alien God in the beginning of Christianity. So the whole time you was thinking the alien was some outside person other than you. You are the aliens because you didn't originally come from this planet. So when you see the aliens, you're thinking it's somebody else. So the first part of the movie is the arrival, where they announce who the alien is. The second part of the movie, despite what you think, these movies are put together. They're put together at one time. The second part of the movie is Independence Day, when the white man tries to go to war with the aliens. Who is you? But like any other war, what they do, they go get a nigger to be in it. Give Colin Powell out, so they get Will Smith. Always a nigga that don't know the history. Well, I'm ready to kick some alien ass. I like saying I'm ready to kick my own ass. So you're saying, what in the hell is some movies got to do with reality? If you understand quantum physics, get the book Michael Talbert's book, The Holographic Universe. There's no such thing as space and time. And the physical is only an illusion. Reality is only what you told yourself it was. The key movie to go see that will teach you everything you need to know is the movie that came out last year. And it's the only movie that came out last year that they refuse to put in videos that you can buy. You can rent it and copy it, but you can't buy it. It's still $90 on the market. And all the movies that came in the last couple of weeks, you can get them. And it's called In the Mouth of Madness. We're going to explain this thing. John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness is your key movie. It is the best movie to teach you what's actually going on, and I'm going to explain this movie in a few minutes. But reality is only what you told yourself it was. That means if I'm born in a house full of shit, unless I understand, go outside of the house and find out that all houses don't have shit on the walls, I would think the shit is a piece of furniture. If that's all you knew. So if I was born in the state penitentiary and I never got outside of the state penitentiary, it would be like Disney World to me. Until someone marched me out the state penitentiary and I found out I had more freedoms than I do. You understand what I'm saying? So the key to these movies is, and I know this for a fact because I got documents from Chicago of a cult group in Chicago when it's one of the best occultists one of the best occultists, which is a person that understands our laws that we're supposed to understand, is a white boy out of Chicago. Bad. Called Michael Bell too. French guy. But this cat, he's telling all the people in the society, look, we want you to write your own scenario on how to get out of this mess and mail it to us. So what the doggone Europeans are doing is they're trying to rewrite the script so they can go on in time. What did Elijah Muhammad teach you? They said that every 26,000 years the gods write a certain history. And then after every 26,000 years they write another history. Who the hell you think wrote these history books? You wrote these history books. Because you are the gods. Is it not written in the law that ye are gods? John chapter 10, verse 34, 36. So the white boy is trying to rewrite the script to buy time because he understands that all is an illusion. This is an illusion. As a man and woman thinketh, so is he or she. So, if he can change how you think he kept you in slavery all these years? He had the power to go into your mind and get you thinking a certain way that would hinder how far you go with what he gives your ass, right? So the second part of this is he announced in the first movie, he says, we know who you are, and he pointed to a little black boy at the end of the movie. You saw the movie? He pointed to a little black boy. He said, you go back and tell your people, we know who you are. You are aliens, just as the Gnostic script says. Then the next time is what? They say, the aliens come. They say what? June 3rd. They got a new commercial come out. It says, July 3rd, they attack. You see what I'm saying? That one thing say, you always wonder what was out there. On July 3rd, you will wish that you never found out. And so now they got this man is so arrogant, he got these stealth bombers going to fight this big-ass UFO, big as Atlanta, and they got these little stealth bombers trying to fight this thing. And as you know, they're going to defeat them, because that's the way the movie script goes. But he's trying to change a certain amount of energy. You see what I'm saying? But just like he wrote the script on the O.J. Simpson trial, and it backfired, just like he wrote the script with Ron Brown and start taking down planes out the sky like Mickey Leland and Ron Brown, all of a sudden his ass is bouncing around in the sky last week. It's going to backfire on him. You see what I'm saying? He's saying Independence Day. So obviously he had his Independence Day, what, 1776? So if it's an Independence Day, he's talking about your Independence Day. Because remember, the spirit is interceding and making them do shit that they wouldn't normally do. That's why you have X-Files. That's why you have sightings. That's why you got this new show that's coming on. That's why you done have 3, 4 ancient prophecies. You see what I'm saying? 4 ancient prophecies. That's why CNN went to Avalon Bookstore and is doing a whole month-long series on metaphysical bookstores. You see? On metaphysical bookstores. Because they understand the concept of trying to rewrite the script. But it ain't happening. Because it don't need the rest of the race to know. It just needs the people in this room. And now you know. And you see what I'm saying? If you don't know, now you know. It's all good. You see? These are metaphors that come up from the young gods, and they all mean something. You see what I'm saying? Now the key is, that's what they're getting ready to do as far as rewriting the script. They're trying to rewrite the actual script. So they're using Will Smith as a battery. Well, let's see about this then. Let's go into some things and let's try to understand what's going on. Let me know when you want to take a break so people can cool off and we can start back up. You see? Oh yeah, because I'm going to be here for a while. So I want to read this. That way we'll give the ones that want to slip out. You can, you can do that. If you got to do something at home, you can do that too. But I want to, but we'll continue on. Now let me see. I know I got everything that I'm supposed to have. Let me see here. I got a piece of paper. Got a piece of paper here, yeah. Now, let's see about the scripts. And let's see who the damn aliens are. Let's see who the aliens are. Okay. It's talking about the aliens. As H.P. Lovecraft, the Yog-Sotho cycle myth, tells us ordinarily that humans who face horrible beings that threaten their sanity and their very lives. Remember, in this case, in the new stuff that's being written, the humans are the white people and the aliens are black people. I'm going to explain what extraterrestrial is and terrestrial. You see, terrestrial means an earthbound man. A person that was created here, and because it's created on this plane, this is the only plane that it has energy to go to. Because nothing can go on a plane that it wasn't created on. Since you were created on all planes as far as you are the gods of the universe, you are what is called an extraterrestrial because you can go beyond this dimension. That's what an extraterrestrial is. You will see the word terrestrial and extraterrestrial. Terrestrial only means earthbound. And that particular thing was only created on Earth, and that's the European. And other subcultures that was a spin-off of that whole grafting process. But then you have extraterrestrials, which means beyond. And there's a book in the Old Testament that explains that whole thing we'll go into in a few minutes. So it says, now it tells about the humans who face horrible beings and threaten the sanity of their lives. Lovecraft refers to these beings as the great old ones. It says presumably because in their ancient age of wisdom and power, some of these beings appeared as beautiful angels with wings, and others appeared as metallic men, and the rest of bizarre exotic creatures with tentacles and claws. That's why when you go and see the movie Dragonheart, or you go and see the thing, when you go and actually see the gargoyles that come on every day at 4:30 on UPN 69, they'll show you as this particular part, because it's a hieroglyph to tell you that ultimately you don't even have an image. You are spiritual energy that's even beyond any physical manifestation that you could even think of. So they put it in something outside of the actual human just to show you that you are beyond all of that. So when you see dragons and gargoyles, it means that this is another step that you can go to. Just like in Africa, what's that? Huh? Species, right, exactly. And next when you go to Africa, they got little people that live in the trees. Rosalind Jeffries, when she went to Africa the last time, she said because she's hearing the metaphysical things, she listened to a lot of my tapes, she asked the African brothers about spiritual beings or something, and they showed her some little people that lived in the trees. And she was like, damn, I've been coming here for over 10, 15, 20 years. Why you never told me that? They said, you all never asked. When you come, you interested in Africa and all this kind of thing, but you never asked these things. So we're not going to volunteer this shit. You think we crazy. We think we're crazy. And like this. And so they say, you never asked. And they showed them little people that live in the trees. They told the guy, like water of spirit, what's the name of that? We tell you about people in there who could fly, Maladome and Sume. You see what I'm saying? So what it is when they show the extraterrestrial, and they show this, when they talk about other particular things that look alien to you, you don't suppose to frown upon it. It's just telling you how you are beyond any other description. You can't put a description on God and ye are gods. You see what I'm saying? And when you characterize something, you only limit the energy. Because the energy stays there based on what your mind is fixated on. So if he can get you thinking that this reality is the only reality it is, then therefore you can have a whole race of people that never even look beyond looking up in the damn sky. You see? Check. The Call of Cthulhu, Lovecraft is also known as a prophetic historian that tells about the time when the moon was in the 7th house of Jupiter and is aligned with Mars, that the great old ones will fully reawaken and assume their power of the earth. This time is referred to as the age of Aquarius, which is upon us and ain't coming. It's already upon us. You see what I'm saying? It's already coming. And it says, he thought that their shapes are all their shapes, meaning that the great old ones appear as they wish, or rather as we wish them to appear. You understand what I'm saying? So in actuality, we're also talking about something beyond the realm of what you call terrestrial knowledge. So what they're dealing with when it comes to this particular aliens, they're actually talking about you. And the white boy is running scared and knows in actuality that his behind is in trouble, so he has to create these things, these particular movies and stuff, for the simple fact that there's no such thing as secrets anymore. If we have a public lecture, and I don't give a damn what kind of lecture, it's getting back to the government some way or the other. Because one of their things to do is to have somebody, not necessarily have agents in here, but somebody comes and buys a video. The brother comes and says, I want to buy some of Bobby Hemmitt, and boom, they take the stuff back to the government. The reason why I know they got all my shit. They had all my stuff since 1994. You see what I'm saying? So they got all my stuff. They got Delbert Blair, and they got everybody else. So they know that we talking a whole nother other thing. You understand what I'm saying? There's some fucking J.A. Rogers and some stuff like this and all, and some black presidents or whatever kind of thing. We're talking all kinds of things. So therefore, they're running scared to rewrite the script, because once you can perceive it, this doorway opens up. You see? And so therefore, that's very key. And we're going to go back into this alien thing when we come back and all. But what we're going to do is we're going to let me just read a little more of these things here. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was a movie written to celebrate the Yaku thing. So all the Frankenstein movies, but the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the one that starred Robert De Niro. It wasn't a good movie, but it was still a movie to go see. It was written to honor the whole Yaku thing, because they know that history. They knew that history since the 1800s. The other movie, the Yaku story, is coming to the movies again this this summer, where they make half animal, half man on an island. This particular H.G. Wells story, where some doctor, I can't think of his name, travels to an island, and Dr. Moreau. Marlon Brando is getting ready to come out with a new movie starring Marlon Brando, so they got a serious actor, and he's playing Yaku, where he traveled to the island and created half animal, half man in this movie, and it's coming out this summer. Huh? Don't make a difference. You see, they don't make a difference, just like Blade Runner. Blade Runner was a movie to celebrate the Yaku story. You see, Blade Runner was a movie, Judge Dredd was a movie to celebrate cloning and the type thing and stuff. So it doesn't really make an actual difference, actually make a difference, but the Yaku story will be coming to the theaters this summer. And you know, he did, you know, H.G. Wells did Time Machine, he did a lot of things like that. He studied the occult. He knew about the Yaku story because he studied the A.E. Powell's Astro Body book. It tells you about this created human artificial. And might I add, we still got a few of those left over there, I think. But anyway, it talks about that particular one. Also, watch Highlander. Every night at 12:30. Who is Highlander? Highlander was nothing but the Pharaoh that was in Scotland. And in the end, he cuts off the heads, because there only be one Highlander. They get that from the Book of the Dead. They talk about they talk about the ritual for not getting your head cut off. And in the last days, if you don't have the melanin, your head gets cut off. So he represents Heru, the Highlander. And he comes from Scotland, because the pharaohs used to live in Scotland. Every Sunday night at 12 or 12 o'clock, Highlander comes on. But get the first movie Highlander, which is the best one. You can rent the movie Highlander, which is the best one also, too, that deals with that particular one, too. One good movie you need to go rent. If you don't do it, if you don't get it, we will get one in here, and we can get one around the town. I don't care who gets it, as long as they record it. It's called A Man Who Would Be King. Sean Connery and Sean Connery, 1976. So you might have problems finding it on video, but it came on TBS not too long ago. The Man Who Would Be King. Sean Connery and Michael Caine, and talk about how they were Masons and they traveled over into a certain mountain, and because they were Masonic brothers, they met a doggone ancient Masonic craft. And they accepted them, and so Sean Connery made like he was God. Sean Connery and Michael Caine. And he got cut, and when he got cut, the ancient tribe knew he wasn't God, and they threw him off a cliff. You see what I'm saying? But he almost passed through, but he saw this beautiful Arabian sister, and he wanted to marry her. And she scratched him, I think. And so the movie Man Who Would Be King is talking about the Masonic thing. Another movie you need to go see still in the theaters is The Craft. The movie about the 3 white girls and the 1 black girl dealing with the witchcraft. They're dealing with our science. It's still at Phipps Plaza. You need to go see this movie, because once the movie leaves, it might not come to the dollar flick, because they only make the blacks and the black movies there. You see. So go see The Craft while it's there. I know it's still there this week. That means by Friday it might be gone. So if it's still there this week, you need to... See what I'm saying? So I don't even watch the game. I just wait till the damn playoffs and say, now I done messed up all the rest of the suckers. I done recorded all the movies and went out and did this kind of thing here, whatever, and stuff. Half the niggas was winning a month ago. Shit, the shit too long. That's why they have the shit overlap each other, to keep you locked into the damn game. See, what happened is this here. In the ancient times, the white boy used to fight each other, the Vikings. They used to go and they slaughter up each other, fight all day and drink all night. All the way up until the damn 1800s, what they used to do, they went, and it was a wild, wild west. They'd shoot up each other, drink all night. So the white boy said, now wait a minute, now we becoming civilized people. Our nature is to kill each other. Now we can't continue to do this shit going into the 20th century. So they sat down and said, well, we got to create something else that's going to take that energy of us killing each other and put it in another thing. So they created sports. And then they overlap it so to save them all from killing each other. Otherwise, they'd fight all day and kill all night. So the sports took the place of the killing, so that's a gladiator. You see what I'm saying? And that's what the thing is about. It's no different than feeding the damn Christians to the lion. Fuck that. It was black people to the lions is what it was. That's a fake history. Wasn't no damn Christians. They killed millions of black people by feeding them to the lions, and they cheering with the same coliseums. So all this shit is one of the bigger festivals of that every 4 years. So they do the stuff every year, but then they have a bigger festival every 4 years. And that's all to cool their energy off. But so what I'm trying to say is, based on cycles, you know it's the cycle is right. Now let me say one thing about the whatchamacallit. First of all, but this time they played hell, because they lined this damn Olympics up right with the shit they're going to take them out. The Olympic cycle is based on a Herodotus 500-year phoenix cycle. Every 500 years you have a phoenix rising. Atlanta is the phoenix city. It's got the phoenix. They got a phoenix. They painted the phoenix off of Martin Luther King, and they put it back up at Woodford Park. You see the phoenix on the tag of the police. The Paralympics is the phoenix. The phoenix cycle. The phoenix is represented in Egypt as 2 birds, the falcon and the hawk. In Atlanta, you got the Atlanta Falcons and the Atlanta Hawks. The apex of any resurrection in any religion is the mount, or mountaintop. In Egypt, it's Mount Hotep, which means peace, which is also inside of your body. That's when the energy is going to rise to the Kundalini. In Judaism, it's Mount Zion. In Christianity, it's the Mount of Olives. And in Greece, it's Mount Olympus, which is represented as Stone Mountain. That's why that shit is real powerful out there. Why the hell you think all these damn people in the last 10 years gravitated towards Atlanta? It's that fucking mountain out there with the energy of the highest point in the West. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when the black man rises up in the South, it's all over. Now, the sun starts in the east and sets in the west. In the east, you had the Nile Valley with the Sphinx. In the west, and the pyramids, which is, pyramids is represented as the mountain. Mount Hotep, Mount Olives, Mount Olympus, Mount Meru, or Mount Moro. Right? Now, in the west, that's the Nile Valley, the only river that flows upstream. The only other river is in the West Bank, which is the St. John's River in Florida that flows upstream, which is the Western Nile. And the Western Nile Valley reaches from the tip of Florida to somewhere around New York City. It's just different parts. But if you put Africa you put America in Egypt or in Africa, to fit 5 times. So Egypt was a large amount because it goes all the way down to Lake Nyanza, which is they call it Lake Victoria, or the foothills of the mountain of the moon where we started from. So we're talking about this whole East Coast. You see what I'm saying? Is this particular New Egypt that they talked about in the book of in the book of Hermes, in the part called the Perfect Sermon, in a book called A Version of the World. He said, when will we rise again? He was crying. Imhotep, to who they say they're going to build a new Egypt in the West. And he said, well, who are these people going to rise up? He said, these people now live in Africa, but they would have been hit in the head and been drugged into slavery, and now those are the ones that will rise up again in the West. So now, you have the Western thing, the Western part is now the Son of Man rising up in the West, which is the Son in man, S-U-N, inside of you, which you know is the black dot or the third eye, which is the star inside of you that's going to go back to the heavens once you kick off the shell, which is the skin, which is the original thing of sin, restriction. Not you going out and screwing somebody, drinking some liquor and shit. Hell, I started by drinking me some damn wine. Shit, I got me some Manischewitz last night, that Jew shit, for $2. Because it don't matter about that. That's called behavioral stuff that's got you thrown off. So you in these religions, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Well, it's bad on your body. Who the fuck want to live? I don't want this shit to hang around if I die tonight. You see what I'm saying? Y'all motherfuckers be worshiping me. That's because y'all good for turning a nigga to die into gods. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, the West is the particular part. Now, Elijah Muhammad said when the black man rises up in the South, and this is the New World Order city, so they done build a fortress for us. And they say the world is coming to Atlanta to see your ass rise, because you've already risen. So don't look at the Olympic Games itself. It might start a chain reaction, or it might be the end. We can't really say. But they're coming to see it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what the key is with this particular thing. But we talk about this cycle. What's that, sister? What to say? Sunlight and planets?
Plants.
Sunlight and plants? It might be cycles, but then again, on the other hand, a plant is connected to the damn earth, and there's a sun on the inside of the earth. And that sun there's probably only an indication on what the sun on the inside of the earth is doing. What's that?
But still, I mean, sometimes grow more during summertime. Does it have to do with the
It's the solstice. But that's the solstice on the inside of the earth. You see what I'm saying? You can't really base nothing off of science, because that's fake shit. So, because they said that don't necessarily mean it is. You see what I'm saying? They told you needed 4 basic food groups in the 1st grade. A big damn piece of fucking beef off a damn sacred cow. A damn tall glass of damn milk. And a damn chicken egg. Remember that shit? They told you needed 3 meals a day, then they went up to 5 meals a damn day. Know what I'm saying? Needed 5 meals a day. And if I didn't think about food, I didn't need none. I eat a lot when I stay home, and you think about that shit. If you got something to do, it'll be 9 o'clock and you say, I ain't had nothing all day, and then you get scared. Oh shit, I ain't had nothing all day. When Elijah Muhammad say you're supposed to eat once a day and almost every other damn day. You know, and as you see, I ain't been following that rule at all. You know, but I don't care. Now, okay, what's that, sister? And then you.
2 questions. Then December 31st, 1996 is an illusion as if in...
No, these people here always read. This is the only paper that's telling you the truth. or they try to get close to the truth. Let's put it that way. What happened was, it says, repent. Repent is an ancient word for throw off the physical chains or bondage, which is mentally too. Not repent to the Lord. The Lord is an ancient word that means law. You write the fucking laws. You the new weatherman. You see what I'm saying? That's the Indians told you that shit. The end of the world is near. Repent. The Weekly World News, the Weekly World News was, these papers was under attack during the 60s and the 70s, because they used to write all the lies on the stars. But they say, hell, the New York Times is the biggest liar ever. They keep the people, and all your state paper and all the biggest liar ever. That's why y'all supposed to read 5 papers just to get the truth. So they said, well, hell, we'll start printing the truth, and it'll seem greater than a lie. Most stranger than fiction. Truth is stranger than fiction. But they said, we'll do a code word to throw people off. In between this, we'll show you all kind of crazy shit, like dogs and 100-pound babies and stuff like that. But we'll put the truth in there too. So the idiot will look at it and go, oh, they talking about some 100-pound babies. I ain't gonna believe that. And you go on. But the key person will go, well, we know about the 100-pound babies. We know that's a lie. Okay, now I see what they printed the paper for. So the Weekly World News is telling you, kilovirus kills millions. You see what I'm saying? JFK secret diaries. They're telling you the truth. Secret prophecies of the Vatican. Everything they're saying in here, you done read in books. You all supposed to know this shit anyway. So obviously, you see what I'm saying? December 31st, Judgment Day. Which means is, they didn't put date. We can't put a date on it, but in actuality, they are closest to the truth by saying this shit is now than saying it 2000, which is 4 years from now. You see what I'm saying? Because they're closer to the truth. Because they're not waiting till the millennium like the Christians. They're saying this shit is now. Star of Bethlehem say the signals of the end of the world. Heaven photographed from a Hubble telescope, which is that same star we've been seeing out there. You see? So they're telling the truth now. You see? So always get this paper every damn Monday or Tuesday, and you can use your spirit to distinguish. I can go through here, my spirit can automatically tell me that don't sound right. But my spirit, and based on that, I say, okay, I see what they're doing. They're trying to tell some people what time it is. So always, this is a good paper. You get, you know, Dawood, before he used to talk all that junk, Dawood used to get a lot of his science from his Weekly World News. He knew that. That's when he was really pumping it out on his earlier tapes. You see what I'm saying? And the brother Bill Lilly, he get this every week. This was the first paper to say that the damn OJ thing was a frame. You see, like that. So these are some things also to do too. What's that?
Can you reincarnate in the physical? In your books are exactly that you can't. That you can incarnate in the physical. You have reincarnated in a life past. But in the physical, you've had tribes that have gone into dogs and transformed themselves. No, a human spirit transforms either into 3 spirits, 3 mammals. Basically, not 8, that's the Darwin shit. Humans, basically, dolphins, and whales, because they have their own languages and they got a brain, they're more intelligent than we are. But all that dog shit, no, that's a different thing. You need to understand you need to read this book, The Astro Body, A.E. Powell, to understand the planes. This is a must-read to understand the planes. This is coming out of Egypt, that they got our shit. You can't go by that bullshit a lot of these psychics saying is crazy. You got to understand the Hermetic laws, and the A.E. Powell Astro Body give you all the stuff about the planes. This is a must-read to try to understand your world. So you're saying we do not reincarnate those dogs?
No, hell no. Oh, damn dogs.
You can't. There have been books written, I don't know if you have.
They lying.
African tribes have reincarnated into other things.
No. No.
They have transformed physically.
No, there's such thing as shape-shifting. See, they got the shit tied up. First of all, we use animals as emblems, as symbols of ancient people, because they understand people change and cultures change, civilization change, but the animals stay the same. So that's a permanent hieroglyph. You see what I'm saying? So they understood that. The other thing is we can shape-shift into anything we want to do, because the Indians can do that now.
But as far as your soul transforming into a dog and all those kind of things, no, those are different other planes. And what it is some of these books, they can tell you anything in these particular books and stuff if you don't study history, ancient history, and understand the concepts of things. You understand the. See, the best thing ever happened to us, one part is the Afrocentric movement. That was the first stage because it taught us to go beyond. See, these crackers can come and tell you all kind of lies and stuff like that. That's why I say stick close to books that's written 100 years ago. Like this is coming from the stuff that the damn people from India told them and the Africans told them. You see, other than some of these crackers, man, they be mixing. I'm telling you, I got a wall full of these things because most of the books in Atlanta was a result. Most of the metaphysical books is a result of me and a guy named Robert Calloway. But for the last couple of years, you can go to black media and all make them bear witness. Even Bo and even the sister here. I done been through all them books. And I found out after a while, just like any other thing too, they got to make money. You see what I'm saying? So they'll say it, but not no dogs and all that. You wasn't no dog before. I'm saying, but that's, yeah, that's called shape-shifting though. That's different than reincarnation. There's a difference. I can turn into a goat. I can turn into a dog, but that's nothing but doggone manifesting an illusion and having the power to do that type of thing, to go into different dimensions and appear that way. But reincarnation, where your soul come and you live on the planet as a dog, that's different. See, that's what I'm saying. I see what you're saying, but what threw me off when you said reincarnate. Reincarnate is the path of your soul. Now you can turn into all kind of animals. Always go see the movie Lionheart, Thunderheart. One of the best movies came out on how them Indians did this stuff. Thunderheart. How Jimmy can shape-shift into birds and deers. We can shape-shift, yes. That's what they see. There's a difference in words was throwing me off and stuff like that. Yeah, X-Files. Yeah. So give me some more questions. What's that?
Can they verify black people on these jobs for any little thing, like if you was talking about somebody and...
Oh, they can do anything. See see, they got to jump on the bourgeoisie. See how they did this thing with this whole affirmative action shit. The bourgeoisie is arrogant. He has what is called a royal stink. That's when you go through the milling process and you take on the total indoctrination of the mind of what you become arrogant. So they go to him and hunch him on the job and say, yeah, you doing great on this job, making a couple of $100,000 a year. You done created this and that, but you couldn't have got this job if it wasn't for affirmative action. So the bourgeoisie, because he's an arrogant motherfucker, he gets mad and say, I got this job because I was better and I was good. Well, hell, you was good 100 years ago, but you couldn't have no damn job in the cracker shit. So no matter how damn good you are, the cracker had to allow you to get on this shit. Understand the beast. So he tell him that shit and say, no, you didn't get this because of the affirmative action. That's what you got it for. So they keep putting that in his head, and he's so arrogant. Then they raise the question, we want to cut out affirmative action, and the first thing he says is, yes! We have the stigma, so we can't compete. He's the damn idiot that don't know. Once he cut that shit out, then they come and say, you did this on the damn job and you fired. And they can manufacture that shit. And they courts can say, oh, I can't do nothing about it. You see what I'm saying? Then you can't go and get another job because affirmative action is gone. Crack, see what I'm saying? And they got to jump on them. But see, these niggas are so arrogant until they gonna fuck it all up for the rest of the doggone people. So they can't get nothing. What you're saying in actuality, but it's fucking the white man up too, because he's reversing the laws. You see, in the 70s and the 80s, I couldn't be up in there talking some stuff like this, because you go, this is not true. It only became true when Reagan got up in that shit and said, guess what? 10 years and we still don't love your ass. See what I'm saying? Then you see, so it's good in one thing because he's reversing the laws and stuff like that too. Yo, they can fire you, they can do what the hell they want to do. They're the white man. Not only that too, the laws don't apply to them, and the laws, and you are not a citizen. You're 3/5 of a human being, and they showed you that on the Million Man March. When you got to 1 million, they said 400,000 or whatever, and that means, and they were right because they're counted as 3/5 of a human being. You know, Brother Hayru tapped that into that thing. You know, what's that, sister?
You said something about the dreams.
Yeah.
That we're not living.
In the daytime, you asleep.
Right. And
at night, you live. It's just that you are still in a daze and you can't interpret them. You go to the other dimension. You go and revisit yourself.
Okay, is it possible to bring this other dimension?
Yes.
Like wake up out of that dream and still have those?
Yes, you do it every time. That's how black people used to hit the number. That's how black people, all that happens to you in your life is a series of something you going in a dream and getting it and bringing it back to the physical.
Even the people that you see, the spirits?
Yep, all of that. All of that. All of that is real. It's exactly. And the more and more you do lucid dreaming, the more and more you tap into that particular part. And all of that is real. That's true.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
What if you become so spiritual that you don't even want to function in this physical body?
Well, the best thing is to get the hell on. The second best thing is to try to learn a certain amount of knowledge so you can have an understanding of what the spirituality is. And then you will understand based on that you get ready to get on anyway with the rest of the people. Do you know in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, they got a passage in there, and I read it one night, and they got a part in there where we meet back up with the people that have passed on. And we have this party up in that shit. We be partying on them up. They got a passage up in there in the Book of Gates. The Book of Gates is where the white man, where the Christians got the hell story from and changed that shit to some spook shit. They got it from the Book of Gates, and the Book of Gates it's in a book called The Egyptian Heaven and Hell by E. Wallace Budge. A little $6 book. That's the Book of Gates, which is talking about dimensions in your mind and other dimensions. And they got a section in there where you meet back up with the other section and with the other part of the it's called The Egyptian Heaven and Hell is the name of the book, commonly known as the Book of the Gates. A little $6 book in it and stuff. But in actuality, you get to that point that you don't want to be on this plane. Well, I feel that way every day now. And truly, honestly, there's nothing on the earth that I want. So I have to go and force myself, I have to go and force myself to enjoy things. So I don't want nothing on the earth. Money is damn near obsolete to me. I really can't find nothing I want to do with it. I don't want no house. I don't want to go on no damn trip nowhere on this goddamn planet. I don't want nothing. There is nothing I want. You see what I'm saying? Nothing I want. You see what I'm saying? Now, I ain't saying that I still do the sex thing now. I ain't stupid. You see what I'm saying? Because the sex is the real deal, Jimmy, and all that. But even now, it's not even on the same level that it used to be when I was dead. You see, because the ego, I had that shit because of the simple fact I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Now that shit is a damn job. You know what I'm saying? It's a good job, but you know the deal what I'm talking about. It goes to another level. I don't get the same out of it as I did when I was dead. You see what I'm saying? But the key is, I ain't stopping screwing now. That's some homosexual shit that they put in the stuff after they turned against woman. You see what I'm saying? About a nigga get a hold in and he don't want to touch his wife. You can't get to the realm now unless you get in the, he didn't quit it. Both men, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So what's that? Oh, the Egyptian, that was just a, they used to just have advanced ways of medical surgery, and if you go back and see them aliens on them spaceships, they do the same kind of surgery with stuff like that they did in Egypt and stuff like that. It's so beyond our expectation to we can't even fathom it. So even if we were to take our greatest imagination, we only live in the service.
Yeah, but did you ever see the movie The Abyss?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? You saw the end, how they show like a cross down.
Yeah. But the movie you want to go see is talking about rewriting the script. In the Mouth of Madness. Because remember the guy, he was talking about his same reality, and what the guy tell him at the end? He said, hell, I wrote your ass in this script. You see what I'm saying? He said, and you want to say reality is only what you tell yourself. But what was controlling them? It was a little thing in the back of their head. That's the real you. That was one of the best movies
to explain this thing. So a lot of this science fiction thing, it ain't going down that way. Because it's already on the earth. They wait for something to come out of the sky, and they don't know we the aliens right here, but the white boy, the Illuminati who putting this stuff out, he knows what time it is. So we got everybody thrown off. Okay, you and then you, what's that?
Hey, have you heard, do you know anything about some of the native Africans coming over here trying to get with the white men getting with them, and they're going to try to put us back into physical slavery? What's been going on? I've been hearing some things about that.
Whatever the deal is and stuff, you know, they don't have no power to do it. They don't have no power to do it. I know exactly what you're talking about, because what is happening is the most ancient souls of ancient Africa, they incarnated in the United States and some in the Caribbean. And the other ones, those are younger souls in Africa. That's why they're going through, they are 100 years behind us when it comes to liberation and stuff. They still go, they're in Reconstruction period where we were in the 1930s or the early 1900s and stuff. So they can't even fathom anything outside of the white man's world and stuff. That's because they are newer spirits. We think that we go back to Africa, we think those are older spirits. They are newer spirits. The older ancient spirits travel with the energy of the empire. The empire will be rebuilt, and it'll have this great technology, but only on the surface, and the ancient people will be under the foot of that empire. That's us. You see. So not only is America the most powerful empire, the only ones that's able to bring it down is the most ancient of souls in the universe, which is us. Why is that? That's the reason why we are privy to the knowledge. They wouldn't incarnate an ancient soul in a place where he can't have the opportunity to get the knowledge. Now, because we don't take heed in it, that don't make a difference, because it don't really necessarily have to be the masses. It's got to be just the ones it is. It's all good. We got, what, a couple thousand in the United States only. Let's say less than 5,000 maximum that's really into knowledge. You have people that's aware of it. So on that mark and stuff, that's all you need, because it's the atom, which is the most strongest. Dogma tell you that the most strongest is Sirius B. This the most strongest substance in the whole universe. So that's what they're talking about there. You know. This is somebody raise your hand, then you brother. What's that?
Yeah, you know, I was talking about the other night here. Isn't it like when you do astral projection, you can go wherever you want to go?
Yeah, you do. You can. That's the physical part. That's the spiritual part of astral projection. If you can go where you want to go, you can do astral projection and go on different planes also too. But then there's the part where as you just don't want to be on the earth plane at all. That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel every day, which is good now. That means I'm free. I don't have to worry about the same things that other people do. And one of the main things to do is you got to cut off your family. Not cut off your family physically, as far as no contact with them, but cut off your family mentally and emotionally, because that's not your mother. That was your mother in formative years, but each soul is older than that one, or younger than that one. So you've had many things, but the problem is you are still tied to aspects of your family, and that's what's screwing you up. You see what I'm saying? Once you doggone, like my mama, she's still my same mama, but that ain't a part of me no more. So therefore, I ain't got to worry about what my damn mama think about what the fuck I'm doing.
Right. And that holds you here too.
That holds you here too. That holds you here too. You see? Give me some more questions. Okay, what's that? Okay, you brother. Let me get him first because he was raising his hand. Go ahead, I got you.
You answered one of my questions with that. The movie Prophet or Prophecy with Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Well, he was calling all the lowest monkeys, which is white people.
Yeah.
But you know, there was a lot of stuff that was, you know, that movie, it did some things, but I got to go back. I saw it once and I didn't get as much out of it as I wanted to as I got out of other movies. You see, as I got out of other movies, it was jumping around a lot in there. Mortal Kombat was a better movie. Because they went to the underground and they had to fight to keep the earth plane back to human. But the trick was they didn't win because the real deal God came and he wasn't no physical body. He said, I got y'all all ass now. And they drew back. That means it was the end of them because there's no way they can fight him. It was a better movie. Mortal Kombat was a real good. All they did a lot of martial arts. But it showed, they went to the underground, the underworld, and they showed the Olmec heads down there. And it was one white boy, that Asian, what was he doing? The only souls he took was 2 black men. They showed in the movie. Because they was the only ones that had real souls. You know, like that. No, so that was real good. Now, just go ahead, then you look at that.
You mentioned about the 418?
Yeah, the 418. Yeah, 418. They took the 418. He has these tapes called 418 here. How many hours is it? I think it's 60 minutes, and it's supposed to tune your melanin. 418 is they took the word melanin in alchemy is called the Great Works. The Great Works is the coming of a cosmic subject that joins man, beast, animal, baby, angelic hosts, all and planets, metals, all together into one composite, which is the God realm, or the 666, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, which is carbon. So they took that and Kabbalistically, the word Great Works, they broke it down in each Kabbalah. Each word in Kabbalah has a number to it, a numerical value. And the numerical value of the Great Works was 418. So it means that 418 is a number of melanin. There's another number, 718, which is an even higher number, but 418 is a number of melanin and a number of the Great Works. So they took the Kabbalah. Each level of spirituality has a numerical value. So, brother, about 2 years ago, brother, we put together a sound of 418 hertz. And that's a melanin sequence, and he had it on a little device, but now he has it on those cassettes. And he says this, and I did it, and it's real good, but he said that other people are really hearing, feeling the vibration behind that particular 418 and all. But also 4 plus 1 plus 8 is 13, and 13 is also the key number, also a number of Sirius, but it's also one of our spiritual numbers in the white boy messed up number. That's also it's a number of Saturn, but it's the white boy's deadly number. That's why he don't mess with 418, 13. You see like that.
So it's supposed to help
open the third eye. Yeah, it's supposed to help open the pineal gland. It's also supposed to help that particular, those tapes are supposed to also to try to get deeper into the inner consciousness.
How often do you listen to it? Because I'm not one. How often do you listen to it?
Just whenever you can or whatever. It depends on whatever. What's that? You have a question?
Yeah, just a comment and a question. A comment is in connection with these gods that are tagging the walls and giving us, symbols to become familiar with.
Yeah.
Another manifestation of those same spirits and those same gods are these brothers that are sisters as well that are in the hip hop industry.
Yeah.
If you've ever witnessed brothers freestyling, it is
right.
nothing but
the chaos. It's the chaos God. Also, you're right, and also too, it's gone from beyond just the regular hip hop to it's a little bit all this thing here where if you don't listen to hip hop, you can't understand. So in actuality, it's symbolic of the Arabic language, the Hebrew language, and all the other type of language where it's a different language. When you take the English language and brought it back to more of what you would call an ancient language. And that's what they're doing, and that's their archetypes of their collective unconsciousness, just tapping into that. And Jung talked about it.
Yeah. Also, I just would like to know what your feelings or your understandings of natural-born killers and the things that came to
Natural-born killers, especially Reservoir Dogs, which is one of his worst movies. Natural-born killers was none other than the actual white boy saying that, he said when I was born, I knew what I was, a natural-born killer. So it actually was a celebration of the nature of the white man. Reservoir Dogs and his Pulp Fiction, a violent-ass movie that got, Academy Award or something, what you call it and stuff. He had a movie, Reservoir Dogs, it was more violent than that. Then he had a France movie, a movie in France, I can't think of the name of it and all. But now, so, he's, that's just that. And so what it is the white boy actually saying now, hell, but a movie ain't good now unless I'm doing some even more crazier stuff. So they're celebrating that type of stuff. You see, like that too.
Right.
So it's just a part of his
I
nature.
just think that it's really interesting that the political powers are allowing him to do this, and I'm sure that
they get off on that. Just like they get off on that. They get off on murder. They get off on all that type of stuff. Like I said too now, the real vampires are them.
Right.
The that they're living it about to wake down by night. That's mythical. But the real vampires are them. That's why you don't see any real dark-skinned people in America no more. What happened to them? They have been eaten by the Europeans and eat. The real dark-skinned brothers and sisters, they gone. You know, when I say, this brother, he's probably the darkest Indian, he's considered light. You know. So when you see a real blue black person, you really look at it. Because that's not normal. That don't mean that everybody here had white in them, because they had thousands of slaves that went that way. What happened? It's just that they eat them in ceremonies. You see what I'm saying? They eat them. They had books on how to eat the American Negro. And so a lot of your real dark-skinned people have been eaten by the crack and stuff, you see. Eaten by the crack. And Jeffrey Dahmer was the only one that got publicized because he didn't do things by the order of initiation. So that motherfucker was freelance and got caught. You see, so that's what the deal is. What's that, brother?
The significance of those crying statues like that.
What kind of statues?
Those crying statues like Mary or something.
The spirit world puts things gives white people spiritual things to throw them off. See, a white person didn't think that he had a spiritual way out of here. He would have tore up the world before this. So what they do is they'll come in and appear as white people and Mary statues and all that kind of stuff and a lot of psychic phenomenon to throw them off. See, psychic phenomenon is no other than the communication of what we used to do every day because we didn't used to talk. So because a person is a psychic don't mean that a person is very spiritual, so that means that's no different than a speech. So for white people to be psychic, that ain't nothing but a low manifestation in the first place. So there's different levels of psychic ability. There's different planes, and they get stuff off of like the fourth dimension, which is a very low plane in the first doggone place. You see what I'm saying? In the first place. So a lot of those things just to throw them off. So they'll come and tell them 2012 and all that kind of thing. Okay, see you, sister. All right, like that. What's that? What son will, you said, which son will do it?
Since the sun is just a...
Oh, it's the sun inside of you. He's scared of that black dot on the inside of you.
But what about the global warming and the stuff?
All of that is nothing but a manifestation of the ancient indigenous people's thoughts. You was dead one time, so therefore, it all kept on that cycle. But since now you have woke up, you understand what I'm saying? Since now you are awake, what is happening now is you are actually since now you are awake, what is happening now? You are actually warming up the earth and all this kind of thing here. And it's us, the gods are doing it. You see, so that's what's going on. Okay, give me some more questions. What's that?
Yeah. What about disaster and stuff like?
All that is nothing but a part of the reawakening. That's nothing but a part of your energy is doing it also too. But it's doing it on a greater scale than what the white boys let you know because he has the power in the news. And by him having the power over the news, he's able to block out half of the stuff. The majority of the stuff will only give you a fragment of what's really going on. It's more devastating things happening to the earth than you think. If you really knew, if he really reported it, there would be no news. He'd have to report it 24 hours and you would literally say, damn, the world is crushing. And the only reason why you can't really see it is because your third eye is half partially open.
What about places like New York going down and stuff like that?
In actuality, those things and stuff, I don't believe that they'll happen for the simple fact that the masses of our people are all up this particular part. I think it'll be over before that shit happens. I think he's trying to say those particular things and all this kind of thing because he's going based on some biblical prophecy, which is all wrong anyway. It happened over the course of 10 years. I think it's going to be at least in the night. I'm telling you the truth. Each day I look for it. So I don't look in the future. Every day I wake up, I look for it. Or every week, or whatever kind of thing. So you see what I'm saying? So it can happen next week. And stuff. It can happen next week. If I got something to do with it, it will. But then again, you know, because I'm trying to do the shit, I've been trying for the last 2 years to do the shit. I've done all kind of shit. And some things have happened, but then again, on the other hand, it's all happening. It's like this. This is the key. When a house is in flames, you don't know when the house is going to totally burn down. Who cares? The house is already on fire and all the rooms burning up. So that's what's happening. We're just waiting for the house to burn totally down. But the flames are heating up and the rooms are already on fire. So it's happening. But one thing about it now, it ain't a thing about the house that's got to catch on fire. The house already on fire. Right now. Already on fire. It's just that you'll be able to instant replay it in a few days and see it and say, oh, okay, that's what happened. We just still as good. Long as the peace off the planet. We back to our original God self. Okay, what's that? Okay.
So you say that you're looking for this to happen. What actually happened? Like, the gods that came back, did they just snap back to their original self, or these are gods who made an effort?
No, ain't no effort. You program yourself to do it. How can you make an effort if you're dead? If anybody, you see what I'm saying? You program yourself to do it. And based on you waking yourself up, you're making an effort to climb out of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but then again, on the other hand, your clock went off and you started doing it. You see what I'm saying? So it's happening since the other people's clock is going off too. And once it's on, it's just like a ticking time bomb. You see what I'm saying?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going off like they trying to about meditation, yoga, whatever, crystals.
That's searching. Right. That's the struggle.
Right.
That it say you are Nephilim. It says right here, remember I read this part, say you are Nephilim. And again, you reincarnate on the earth as a pursuit of trying to find light. Right. But that's what happens once you get it and stuff. It's a constant struggle. You're trying to do this. So you're tapping into this, you're tapping into that, you're tapping into that. And all of it's good.
Right.
All of it's good.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what's waking you up. That's what I'm saying. Or you don't need.
You are waking up, and that's the process you are taking while you're waking up. Those are just, even meditation and all those are just practices to get a result. Because I do all of that, and I've done some of everything. And stuff. I time travel, I've been back to the 1930s, I've been at the Civil War and all that shit. And I can do it at will. I can think of it right now here, and I can go right back. So those are just practices, but the main thing is, those wouldn't even be an option if you hadn't woken up all together. Those are just practices and all that kind of thing. But ultimately, you're going to get there even if you didn't do that. Want to know why? Because in that way, if it wasn't that way, wouldn't be no sense of coming and waking nobody else because the masses of the people are dead. You see, so we are all going back. It's just we just the first ones to wake up. So therefore, we got to go through, and we have gone through certain things, and they won't have to go through it. Shit, they'll be the first one on the mothership. And stuff.
What's that say about all this book? You know, I read by Elijah Muhammad Fallen America, and it did stay in there and say that Allah, or the other name he goes on, says it was strike at a moment where they're probably everybody's excitement, there's no depression or there's no stock market, everything seems to be, not, whatever. So it just comes up like that.
Yeah, it's just, it's going to be that way. And it's going to catch them right by surprise. You see, so but it's happening right now. That's the surprise about what's going on right now. It's just that some of them Illuminati people can see it.
Yeah.
Because they got enough knowledge to calculate it. And they have calculated, and that's why they run scared. They don't let you know them. Give me some more questions. What's that?
Like, what's the significance of what happened, like, the turn of the century in the early 1900s when the Theosophical Society, they said that the white man's time was over at 1904, 1940, they got some kind of distinction or something. What's the deal with that?
Their time was up. But their time was up. But the Book of Law came. But then again, on the other hand, it really wasn't, because even in itself they say, but the black man was not woke up. Well, hell, if he wasn't woke up, the Spirit should have came down in the early 1800s and woke us up before then. So in actuality, their time has been up before. It's just that they have taken the last 90 years to keep us down, to keep us from remembering. And we pop up every damn 60 to 20 years. 60 years and then 20-year cycles, we pop up and stuff. So it's been an ongoing battle and stuff like ongoing battle and stuff. So a part of that particular stuff, but also too, their time was up and stuff in the 20th century because they had to bring out all this stuff, and they have done that too and stuff.
Well, actually, they're living off of us too, right?
They're living, they're feeding off our energy, and they have been doing that, but now it's gone so far now until all physical life can't support nothing. So now everything is breaking down. It's no different than a person getting old, a body getting old, it can't support that house anymore, and it has to go. And that's what's happening now. So is that it? Okay. Okay, what's that?
Is it necessary for you to be in the ancient order of Melchizedek to elevate?
Hell no. Shit, if you was in the ancient, how no, it ain't ancient. It ain't ancient. It ain't necessary for you to be in no group. You can do this thing on your own because ye are gods. Now, how the fuck are you a damn God and you think another motherfucker is necessary for you to be with him? It's necessary for you to be with him. You see what I'm saying? No, it ain't necessary to be in no what you call it no. I mean, for those people that's in there, they supposed to be in there because they are at that person at that point until they can't do nothing on their own but be in there. So it's necessary for the person that's in there, because that's what level he is. You understand what I'm saying? But no ancient order, no Melchizedek. He can't bit more liberate you as a damn cracker. You see what I'm saying? As a doggone cracker. You see what I'm saying? He can't a bit more liberate you as a doggone cracker. And the whole 9 yards and stuff like that. No, it's not necessary for you to be in nobody. Nobody has the right to be over you, to tell you in actuality, well then go and shoot that nigga in the head right now, see won't that nigga die. You see what I'm saying? No, you don't have to be in no order. You can do it by yourself. Now the ones that's in that order, even actually a person that's in the church is supposed to be in there. If a person is that stupid, to be there, that means that's the only realm that person can be. Well, that person has woke up, he's getting the knowledge that he needs, and right now that's good for that person. But to say to be in the ancient order of Melchizedek and all that kind of thing here, a nigga that done changed his name 4,000 times and singing Christmas songs around the Christmas tree. Now how the fuck how the hell am I pin on this nigga here and I got tapes on this nigga around the Christmas tree? Rap on him around the damn Christmas tree and with cowboy suits on and all that kind of stuff. Shit bigger than that, man. But those people, they need to be up in that type thing. You see what I'm saying? They need to be up in that type, in there. And that's good. They're getting the nourishment they need, but they ain't no,
Transition.
Huh? It's a transition and all, and they're supposed to be there. I'm not knocking that, because the person's supposed to be there. But no, ain't nobody, you look for nobody to raise yourself up but yourself. The other people that need other people, they're in those groups. They're in those groups and stuff.
So Atlanta had a lot of significance in the whole story.
Yeah, Atlanta, this whole East Coast, but now you see Atlanta is the new South. Everybody's here, and the world is seeing this thing. You see what I'm saying? The metaphysics actually came out of Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the stuff and all this stuff, a lot of the books. Tell you, this is it. And now all the bookstores at the East Coast is almost closed. Atlanta got all this, it's here now. Everything is here. New Leaf, the distributor who's giving all these books here, is the biggest one on the whole East Coast, probably in the country. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the way it is. What's that, brother?
Okay, before you need is you to wake yourself up, and you don't know how are you going to wake yourself up?
You're already doing it. You're already doing it. Can you read? How the hell do you think I got this damn knowledge? My spirit woke up.
Right.
But how the hell do you think I got this knowledge? How you think I got it? The spirit led me to it, and there was a spiritual part about it, but can you read?
Yeah.
And you don't even have to do that. Can you listen to a cassette? Can you listen to look at a video? It's all around you. How you gonna wake yourself up? Ain't nobody. You think ain't none of these niggas can raise you up. You think Raboni can do it? No. You think doggone Farrakhan can do it? No. You think doggone the guy over here, the own soul vegetarian can do it? Then I mean, no. They can inspire a person, and then they can fool the nigga and think that them niggas a damn Messiah. But they say the Messiah, the come in the Holy Quran, is in you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's in you. You got to realize this, there's billions of black people on the planet. So why the hell you think a nigga in Atlanta gonna raise up all them people? But it don't have to go that way because it's gonna be like this. Zombie effect. We go in seasons. Do you think a damn one flower, they got one flower need another damn flower to see that the goddamn all the flowers on the earth bloom? Hell no. When the cycle comes, they just bloom. We in the cycle. Now you might have a flower that bloomed before the other one, but he ain't doing nothing to say that I'm just a damn example on not what you should follow, what you gonna do. Because it's your nature. You think the damn animals got a fucking damn leader? They just are. That's how the gods are. So it's all coming and stuff. It's just that ego done set in, and these niggas here done got to jump on people because they was able to tap into the knowledge first, and their egos got to hit them. Now they telling you got to go through them.
Unless they got like a secret type of thing, where it's like in their own, they can't reveal those secrets.
Look here, there ain't no secrets.
It's like they say.
There are no secrets. No, it's all bullshit. There are no secrets. The secret to it is that there are no secrets. It's just that they know most people are fool enough to think that they're secrets. Most people are fool enough to think that they're secrets. Let me tell you something. I know a cracker in England right now that I guarantee you right now, these niggas, he can't comprehend what this cracker's saying. That's a white boy. The shit so far above the kind of stuff. AWO's channel through this cracker just to put stuff down here. The nigga living ain't, he the baddest mother in Europe. It's a cracker. Rapponi and them, they can't even touch this cracker. But yet he a white boy and he ain't even God. So there ain't no secrets. The secret is the stuff, the floodgates of Shambhala is open. And the only secret is they ain't telling you, you can go and find all the stuff in the damn bookstore. I'm telling you the damn truth. The majority of the white people I meet in my circle, most of the black people that so-called call themselves black leaders, they can't even touch. Right here in Atlanta. I know white boys right here in Atlanta, they can't touch. I can mop the floor with their ass, because I know what the motherfuckers know, and I know the game. But they can't even touch them white people. You see, that's how I know it's some bullshit. They got these people, man, fooled. You see what I'm saying? They got these people fooled and all. You see, because you can print a whole lot of books and then make a book and put it in the Bible form, call it the damn Holy Scriptures. I can do that shit. If I want to take your damn money, you see what I'm saying? That ought to let you know a real spiritual person, I don't need the money. You see what I'm saying? I'll tell you one thing. Have you ever seen a motherfucker come and talk more shit about the money than me? I'm the only one. You remember that? Out of all these niggas, that's one thing about it. All these niggas that say they Christ, they don't never come and tell you, talk shit about the money, because ultimately they want your dollar. If they talk shit about the money, they can't charge you all of what you call stuff like that. That's the key. That's how you know. My sincerity is my credentials, and I'm not telling you to follow me, because I know one thing too. You God. And don't I tell you that? But we don't want to hear that though. See, that's the thing about it. A nigga can come up here and tell you the truth, and you'll call him a lie. And a nigga can call you, tell you a lie, and you'll call him a Messiah. That's the way we are. We are pimps and hoes. That's all we the biggest hoes and we the biggest hoes in the world. And you got a few pimps among us. We bending over and they're giving evil an opening. So that's what's that?
You said the records of Shambhala. What's the records of Shambhala?
Shambhala, Sham, which means ham, which means black. Bala, Shambhala is just talking about inside your head, the Akashic records, but they're manifested in these books.
The Akashic records.
Yeah, they're manifested in these books also too. And so the stuff is out here, the information is out here.
How did they get out here?
They got out here because we left the ancient fragments down, and not only that too, we carried, there was stuff that the Moors brought from all over the world and put in Europe. And then not only that, this stuff has just been coming by the way, and then we use the white people as hoes, as custodians to pile up the stuff, and they thought that they were doing it for themselves and they were doing it for us. And the worst thing they invented was a damn printing press. But Cracker is a money man, and he'll sell you his mama if the price is right. So even he, you see, so everything works the way it works that particular way. So the knowledge is in the what you call it. Most of Rabboni, his new space stuff, he got from Zachariah Stitch. He got from Zachariah Stitch. You can read the damn Earth Chronicles and all that kind of shit. Then he come right in line and say, and he don't write half them books. He got a group of people, I already know. See, y'all have to do shit where they be shitting people in Atlanta. Because the people in Atlanta is young boys. But he was in New York before that. And he abandoned them people over there, and they living in poverty now. He got a group of people that sit down at the table. Just as the Nation of Islam is honest enough to tell you, it's the research team of the Nation of Islam. He got a group of people and they sit and they get all this stuff and they write it and they reword it in there so he don't get sued. And then they print it up in them books and they put it out to the doggone public and he put his name on it. And so he didn't get his book of world records to write the whole book than any other person. And there's a group of people writing them books. And a girl that does the artwork, I know the whole setup. I know the whole doggone setup. He done been around Boney, Dr. York, Imam Esau, all of these different things like that kind of thing here. And that shit got shaky up in New York and he hauled that to Atlanta to Eatonton, and all that kind of thing. And now he got a whole bunch of young people. That's where I wanted right up here to hold the tabernacle.
Oh, okay. He's the one that put out about black people were devils first before white people.
Yeah, the black devils and the what's called. And what I'm trying to say is even the stuff that he putting out, he's waking people up. Because it's all good. Anything better than a nigga talking about, because I sing because I'm happy. He's waking people up and it's all good with him.
Charging a lot.
But don't think for one damn minute, because when you get a certain amount of knowledge, you're supposed to go past that and find out that you're the man of your own destiny. And stuff. You're the man of your own destiny. I got books right now that that nigga can't even read. I said, read it. I'll tell you right now. Read it and explain it to me. I'm telling you. But see, I'm humble. And I get this stuff like this kind of thing here because the stuff is revealed to me because they know I ain't going to try to pimp nobody. I'm not going to open up no classroom and I'm not going to charge nobody no arm and a leg and all this kind of thing here and have you up here passing foot tubs of money around for me and going and getting on welfare and giving your food stamps to me. See, like that. That's the key. You just got to, I'm telling you, be honest with yourself. Because that's, when you first get into something, you want to follow people. It's easy to follow people. But I'm telling you the game, man. I'm telling you the game. I done had them come to me and told me, man, listen, we ready to follow you. So now I'm a goddamn nigga from Mother, South Carolina. See what I'm saying? From Mother, South Carolina. You see what I'm saying? So how you gonna follow me for and shit? I got holes in my damn drawers. You gonna follow me some damn way. You a damn fool. You crazy to follow something. You see what I'm saying? That's ego. So what I'm trying to say, you gotta be honest. You the God. John chapter 10, verse 34, 36. Now the Bible done told you that the Messiah who is to come is in all of us. So why the hell we gonna follow some nigga? Yeah, he can be a teacher, but once you start learning, you don't need nobody. Like that kind of thing here. You don't need nobody. And now that's cultism.
I guess that's why my husband, he was part of the Mason, but then he got out and he said a lot of questions he'll ask just like they going through some kind of agenda where, you know.
Well, because they didn't even know. The Black Mason don't know nothing. I done challenged them niggas here today. I got a book. I say, now if y'all can read something out of this book, let me know. And them niggas, I had one guy sit down for a whole hour. He sat down for 6 hours, because you know I speak long, and I said, now come on now, give me a sentence out there and tell me what it was and shit. And I offered him $100. And I didn't even have it. He said, you're right, man. Why? I know that my brother 33rd degree. My brother Mason of the year for the state of South Carolina 4 years in a row. And he'll tell you in a minute, that shit is all fake. You know, you see like that now. I was in the Masonry, so I know it's all fake. I got all this shit and all that kind of stuff. So give me smoke, well, that's how else. What's that, brother?
The doggone ceremonies.
The ceremonies and stuff. You get the Sirius mystery. They talk about the Sirius. It's a city ceremony that was it took place every 60 years or every 50 years, and it went on in 1994, and it was supposed to realign the orbit of Sirius. And once that took place, it would bring us into a new age, which is the end cycle, and all that stuff has done taken place now. That's the good part about it. All that stuff is behind us now. The illusion the white boys do to keep you looking into the future, and therefore you won't wake up and find out that mother ain't got nothing on, no clothes on, and he's weak. But don't worry, he cooked. I'm telling you, he cooked. I feed him every day. He gone. That baby through. He just has the power and the illusion to make you appear to think that he's still strong. What's that?
Yeah, they just like the movie Stargate. They show up, you saying, they set all these pictures up to make you think that they can actually beat God. You know what you start.
Right. Beat God. Beat God.
They were able to go in another dimension and blow up everything.
Beat God. Because because they were trying to rewrite the script.
Yeah.
They tried to rewrite the script in 1994 so they could buy time.
And then that's to say that the point, if you listen to when you was looking at it, when you listen to when he said that, he said there's an outside threat of this earth that we got to take care of.
Right.
Coming back to the end of civilization.
That's right.
And Ross told him, he said, yeah, he said, I'm coming back. He said, I created y'all.
That's right. And see, now they got the book, the movie ain't out yet, but they got the little book out now called The Return. Stargate book is out now. The little paperback, $4 paperback is out now. $5 paperback. So they have made a movie out of it, but now they done struck back. It's in the movie. What's that?
I remember the brother, I can't think of which one, he was talking about how we use 100% of our brain.
Yeah.
I think it was a movie out about 6 months ago about this white boy. He got powder.
Yeah. I think the new one with John Travolta gonna be better. Yeah. Phenomenon.
But you were talking about the whole what do you call it? I can't think. Well, the kids have to come in early, curfew.
Yeah.
But see, they've been doing that in New Orleans for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So,
well, they tried it here about 2 years ago and it didn't work. But see, this thing is different now.
Right.
This is a national thing put out by the president. Where they just gonna try to mess up the youth.
Right.
This is something totally different. The other thing, you know, Atlanta did, a couple cities did it. You know, LA, they all had those curfews. But what we talking about now is a government shit, Illuminati. Where they gonna try to wipe out the black people like that and stuff. The martial law type thing.
When you say that the white man is finished, do you also feel the white woman is finished too? Or you?
That's when I say white man, I don't separate. I don't separate. Well, actually, the white woman.
I want to make sure now.
No, when I say the white man, no. But I don't separate. But in actuality, we shouldn't even say the white man. We should say the white woman period because she's the real deal.
Right. You're right. That's
the reason why she's the real deal because she has the appearance to act so docile.
Right.
Remember, half the shit he did, she was behind it.
And you know, and also what black people in this country, especially down in the South, Atlanta, is failing to realize the black woman got power. I'm sorry, she's got some power too.
Right.
And a lot of the brothers are fool thinking that the white woman, no, she's headed hard, and I feel so sorry for her. But she is a big devil. I'm telling you. I mean, she's
you know, like that. No, she's a freak.
Yeah, she's very evil. I mean, I've seen some evil things that she does.
Yeah, the white woman. If he's the beast, who's the mother of the devil?
I wish you know people would wake up.
Who is the mother of the devil? That's why they can really get the black man now, because they sending him the real potent beast.
Right. It's
that white woman. And you know that damn TV set on the damn show.
And what's that?
That's amazing now. It's amazing.
What's that? That he's falling for it.
I feel like every morning, I guarantee you, every morning or every week, I guarantee you, you can't turn on the talk show and see some black man without some white woman.
You can come out your house and see it. It's a grocery store, it's a mall.
Exactly.
Everywhere you go.
Yeah, exactly. Man, last Sunday I was down in Buckhead, and I thought it was a rerun of Jungle Fever. Man, every other car, some black guy with a white woman. Some black guy, white woman. And we never kept saying before that our black women are going with the white men. No, that stuff there is come to find out is still the black woman is still loyal to her man.
That's right.
In a great proportion compared to the what's called. Because ultimately the white man still ain't attracted to the black woman. You see what I'm saying?
Or the black woman to the black man.
And to the black man. What you know, the white man loved that black woman.
Right.
Oh, he loved that black woman and stuff like that and stuff. But he'll sneak around, but he's still got enough racial pride.
Right.
That's the thing about him.
He
won't be seen, but he'll tiptoe through the tulips of the wind.
Right.
He's a tiptoe bandit now.
I said Bobby Kennedy had black nation.
Huh?
Bobby Kennedy, the one who got killed.
Yeah, all of them, man. Elvis Presley. All of them. And all of them. They were the whole thing.
Never had a black child as a son.
Yeah, and see, Robert De Niro, Robert De Niro was nothing wrong with it. Yeah, he tried to get with the youth. And see, one thing I do like
about Whitney.
He's about a little bit lighter than
I do like about Whitney.
Face like Flip.
Everybody thought that Whitney was definitely going to get a white man. And she fooled a lot of people. And not only that too, she went with one that was thuggish like, which lets you know she, you see what I'm saying? Because at the time when she was singing before Bobby Brown, every white man in Hollywood was trying to get Whitney. Robert De Niro and all of them. And they had money 3 times over. But she went with Bobby Brown, so I gotta give her credit for that.
Well, she said today that the reason why the whites don't like her and Bobby, and why she's having a hard time now, is because they wanted her to be with the white man.
They wanted her, and Robert De Niro, and all that. But right now, you see the movie, go get the movie Bronx Tale. That's about Robert De Niro's life.
Yeah, I see.
That's about Robert De Niro's life. He wrote a story about how he was turned on about black women since he was a damn teenager, right out of high school. And Robert De Niro played his father. Bronx Tale was Robert De Niro's life, and Robert De Niro right now don't want nothing but a black man. I had a friend named Wayne Gainey, a white boy. He dead now. He played with us. He used to play with us and stuff, right? Because he was so poor to white people didn't want to play with him. But yet, my family was probably the richest people in the little town, and he used to come and play with us, you know. At times he played with us, but I guarantee you, after playing with us, when he got to be a teenager, he said white women would strip in front of him naked, and he just couldn't touch them. He got a taste of a black woman and he went crazy. he went, just a white boy Wayne Gainey, he went crazy. And I mean, and he was tall and handsome and all that after a while. He grew up and he said a white woman was stripped butt naked in front of him. He said he just couldn't touch her. So they like, what you call it, they like black women too and all. You see like that also too. They like black women too also.
But I, you know, I hate to say this, but and I hope brothers don't get angry and mad. I'm not talking about brothers in here, whatever, you know. But it's like most of the brothers I'm seeing, especially in Georgia, the deep south, Atlanta, are very dumb and very foolish, very easy to be misled.
But you know what, though? I think now it's a global conspiracy, because I'm telling you, I was up in New York now 3 weeks ago, and it's just as bad up there too. And out in California, this thing now, I think it's a government thing doing this thing.
Well, I do too, but it's like this, you know, black men are the only men that I see that will actually leave their wives and children and go marry another woman with their race.
It's real bad.
Any other race that ain't doing that.
It's real bad. You don't.
Because Clinton has a half black son, but you think he was gonna leave Hillary and go marry another?
No, and you don't see no what you call it. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I got a list somewhere buried in the house. In 1993, we did a list of all the black people, sports, all famous people, sports figures, movie stars, singers that was married to white people, and you know, black things, and it was 80% of all of them that was married at one time or was married to white people, and I don't think we had about 10 damn people in the whole history of Hollywood, whites, that was married to black people. I don't think we had 5, but we had, the list was up in the hundreds. I'm gonna get that list and type it out. James Earl Jones. I mean, just
I was shocked when I
and this goes, it was so many people. But see, that shit obsolete now. Because that was 4 years ago when we wrote that list up. Man, we don't know how many niggas it is now.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
About 1,000 more.
About, you know, stuff like that. No. But like I said also too, once they get with them white girls, they shut down their energy and they can't have nobody else. Now, I know that for a fact. Yeah. They get a stink on them and they can't have nobody else. It messes them up. I tell you what. I got a good friend. I got 3 friends. One good friend said that he got out of the nation back in '92. They wore out his alligator shoes up in that dome. And the motherfucker told him he couldn't see the minister. He said, well, you know, hell. And he just saw this hierarchy. You know, all the ones he said, well, I can't meet the damn man and shit, you know. I don't know how to wore out my shoes, selling down tickets and all the bean pies, and you ain't let me meet the man. So he said, hell, the shit wasn't even over. He just walked out there. They walked out the damn dome and never came back. He said, so he was just so upset about things he saw. He said he met this white girl. And he said the white girl, man, they do anything you want. If he told her, get on top of here and stick a broom up your ass, they'll do it. So he said, blowing his mind and stuff. He said, do anything. He said he could walk to him, slap the hell out of him.
I know they're real stupid.
They real crazy, man, and free to do anything and stuff. If he tell, get in the box and give me some. You know what I'm saying? Put this damn strawberries on your head. He said, so he's amazing all this shit he do. He said, your sister wouldn't do that shit. You see what I'm saying? Not that you don't beat her down until she's scared, but they ain't gonna go through all that shit. You get in a fight with her, they ain't gonna go through no stuff where you tell her, go out here, go get muddied up. Say, and she coming back in here and stuff like that. Screw this Coca-Cola bottle. He said, anything you want him to do. He said, so, you know, he was pulling this girl, he was getting this girl. He said one thing too. He said he messed with her for 3 months. He said in the whole 3 months, he was sick. And he said when he didn't learn about it, so I started telling him about it. And he said he called his brother down in Alabama. He said he had him a white girl. He said, I want to ask you something. He said, when you was messing with that white girl back in 2 years ago, was you sick? He said, I was sick the whole time. And one of my boys said, he was one of his boys left Clark and went to one of the white grad schools, and they know the white girls there. And they crazy about black men. And he said he started messing with this white girl, and he said he was sick the whole time. They shut down your energy. But see, what's happening also, too, in these schools, these all-white schools, my girl said she went to it, she said it's about like 40-something black people go to the whole school. And see, one thing has happened now. This hip-hop person, the hip-hop man from, see, they've been seeing all these rappers and stuff. So all the black girls now, all the white girls saying, I gotta get me one of them. Because when I went to New York, they said, the guy said, you know, I've been up here for years and I've never seen Asians and Dominican Republicans and Puerto Ricans or none of them. He said, I always stuck to their own kind. He said, but I swear to God, he said, now, only person they want is a nigga with some big pants on and cap turned backwards. So now TV done put out that kind of thing because the rock and roll is dead now. Everything is rap. So they want them one of them. They want them one of them, and that's one thing, so all that kind of thing too. So it's crazy. I know what you're saying. It's crazy.
But I'm like you. I think the government is dying.
Yeah, they are. I think they program them. Ain't no way in hell you can have just talk shows. Every show, man, is some black man with a white woman. And that shit was overnight. That shit wasn't 10 years ago.
They don't have no real reason. They ask why you with her.
She treat me, what's called. But you know what they say too? They say, once they get married to her, they say, the black man, it's just like a water torture. After a while, they can't take all that putting on their shoes and shit like that and all that old stuff. See, the only reason the white woman is a devil, the only reason why she's doing it is because she's a black person. And see, they act a certain way around black people, and sometimes they do things like that. So they can't take it, and they start beating them because they don't act like they mothers. You see? And so what happens was, after a while, they can't take it. Like one guy in the army said, he was over in Germany. He said that white woman was washing his feet, doing all that kind of stuff for him and stuff, ironing his clothes and increasing his drawers and stuff like that kind of stuff, and cleaning out his ears and stuff. He said after a while he just got mad with it. He said he whipped them on back. You see, like that and stuff, you see. And also after a while they can't take it. They can't take it. They say them Asian ones is even worse.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Well, they also cementine neighborhoods, because if you can just ride down Cascade, and you will see more black men in them trash.
It's an epidemic. But that's all a part of it. That's all of it. They say in the end days you won't be able to tell male from female. I'm telling you, I swear to God, I went to New York, and I bullshit you not. Everybody up there is bisexual. Oh, Lord. Everybody, I'm telling you, everybody I ran into, the women, they had affairs with other women, and I'm telling you. Now, I'm not putting no stigma, but I'm telling you, that stuff that's going crazy up there, that city is running them crazy up there. It's a lot of bisexuality, man. They're not homosexuals totally, it's a lot of bisexuals. That's even worse. That's even worse. All the men and stuff, man. The guy was telling me about all the guys, and the guys that I had met up there, he was telling me how all the niggas was gay. And shit. And the guy telling me, he broke down and said he was gay. And I was like, damn, is there a real nigga up here? Do I have to go to the goddamn Metropolitan Museum?
Yeah, I know.
And all the sisters and stuff, you see. all the sisters and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think Atlanta is sort of like
Yeah, good
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of dyke women here. Oh
Yeah. And believe it or not, a lot of them up at that AU center. You don't even know. See what it is I had a lot of good friends when I was going to school that were security guards. But I had a big mouth back then, so they knew me. And so what it is they be checking the rounds, man. They be saying, man, you be surprised, man. All they say used to catch a lot of them girls, man. A lot of women would be tiptoeing through the tutors too, and shit like that. You see a lot. It'd be more than you think. Professors and all that kind of stuff. And all, man. You know, be messed up and all, man. They used to break in on them girls. I mean, some of the most beautiful girls in the world. You see what I'm saying? Give a nigga hell. You see what I'm saying? Give a nigga hell and stuff, man. They be like, shoot, he doing it. You see? It's a sign of the end times. All that's a sign of the end times. They say that in the last days he'll give us our woman. That's one prophecy Honorable Mama says. In the last days he'll give you your woman, so when your God comes to kill him and kill you too. So that's a sign. So any sign, that's one of them. Because this thing done gotten out of hand, man. Last Sunday, man, I was like, man, after a while, I just say, if I get mad, I'd have to just lay out on the street by the time I die. Because it was coming, it was so much of them, man. I mean, all in the supermarkets and stuff like that. I mean, it's just so much of them and stuff. And I'm talking about like, big, the ideal black man. You know what I'm saying? Tall and muscular and stuff, and have a cracker look like, you know the little dogs, you know the little dogs like on Little Rascals, little dogs. Look like that shit. Like that and stuff, man. Look at it. I said, look at this cracker here. Right? Nasty looking beast. Yeah, like that big. Like two of them like that, 250, 300 pounds.
And the black man had the nerve to get up on television and marry another man.
And see, I'm gonna tell you another thing they did too. See, one thing I do like about Arab culture, you don't do nothing to embarrass them Arabs if you're Arab. You get killed. See what I'm saying? And them Italians, you don't do nothing to embarrass them Italians. They take your ass out. See what I'm saying? Now, they don't have a history of fucking drag queens. Now, why is it the biggest drag queen in the history now happens to be a black man? It's RuPaul. Now, you'll never even hear of an Arab drag queen. Because they would put what they call that shit, the jihad, hit squad, all that. They'll raise a million and take a nigga out. And that's what I do. I'm saying, well, you can be negative myself. Look, you don't see them Italians and them Arabs and stuff like that with somebody embarrassing them overseas or in their country or whatever. They kill your ass and make an example of your ass.
And you do see it.
Give a nigga a rubber necktie.
What's that guy on the radio? The real big good bones, a Jew.
Yeah.
What's his name? Real tall, ugly, got long blonde hair.
Stern.
Yeah, Stern. Yes. That's a Jew.
Yeah.
He's a Jew. You know, Jews tell features about big good nose. They got ugly features in the face. Like tells a Jew woman has God. And they're just ugly people. It's like we do have Jews that they make drag queens too. But you're right. It's mostly us black folks.
Yeah, I'm saying. But see, what I'm saying is I mean, shoot. You ain't gonna find that. Them Arabs, you don't find them. I met an Arab guy from Lebanon. And I met him he was from Israel. He said, man, we even see a damn Arab sister like Israeli. We cut both of them up. And my brother said, oh, that's so hard. Hell, he was like, no. He said, we see him with that white Jew. He said, we cut him up. He said, myself, he said, I done made bombs and throw in elementary schools and blew up some of them damn crackers. They don't tell you what they be doing. He said, I can make a bomb with nails and throw it in a schoolhouse, and the nails are sticking 100% in every one of the children. He said, I done did it. He said, my brothers died in Munich. Remember in Munich? Yeah. When they had the athletes and the people? He said, 2 of them was my brothers. He said, my mama go back and have more children. He said, nah, them grown. He said, we kill them. We love to kill them every day, that damn white Jew. This guy from Lebanon was saying he was going to Atlanta University getting a damn PhD.
Now that's the difference between our people and them. A PhD nigga, he didn't want to hear nothing about no black race. This nigga was getting a PhD, and I stepped in and listened to that guy for about 3 hours. He was telling me all the stuff they do. He said, we catch one of our people with one of them, we take them and we cut them all up. And so the man said, ain't that kind of big harsh? You cut up your own people. He said, if we don't make an example out of her ass, he said, we kill him. He said, we don't make an example out of her ass, we'll give up one to teach the rest of our people. You don't fuck with this damn woman.
That's right. That's right.
And stuff. He said, so he said, we sacrifice.
We the only people I know.
He said, this guy, he was a problem. He was a dark. He lived right there on the Gaza Strip. That thing between the borders. Man, the stuff that cat was telling me. And I said, so and all the people thought, well, what about, we all sorry for it. Well, what about your brother? He said, my mama just going to have more. He said, I got 3 sisters. We pump them out like war machines.
That's what the elephants do.
Huh? Yeah, and he said, we just have more. And he said, shoot. He said, and we send money back home. He said, we got a network, we send money back home, and all this kind of thing. And he was saying, he said, I'm telling you. He said, shoot. He said, I done killed hundreds since I was a little. Since I was in the elementary, he said he had killed hundreds of white Jew kids in the elementary school.
Is it
Molotov cocktail?
Is it possible that we got some blacks got Jew too? Because I've seen a lot of blacks got the hood pump nose that look like.
We got some of everything based on what you call it, but that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that don't mean they got Jew as far as their nature.
Okay.
That's just a feature. And we got all of that kind of stuff.